the magician in the world of Doraemon. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 201, Overturning his house. The outside, and let you and Dazzy come in first. Sitting in the living room, she handed Dazzy a cup of tea. Although it was very sudden, we are also helpless. Something happened yesterday, which temporarily put our family into an economic crisis, so we can't pay you. Gian and Dazzy knew that it was inconvenient for them to tell him what happened, so he decided to save the situation in a roundabout way and find out the inside story. Don't worry, even if I don't pay, I will help Nobita with his lessons. After all, we are classmates. Nobita's mother burst into tears of joy. Really? That's great. When those relatives heard that it was a matter of money, they acted as if they didn't know us. There is no child who has feelings now, really. Gian and Dazzy didn't say anything to her complaints. After listening for more than 10 minutes, Nobita's mother realized that she shouldn't be so out of control in front of him. He stood up. Then, I will go to Nobita's lessons first. After that, Gian and Dazzy walked out of the living room. On the second floor, Nobita and Doraemon also had sad faces. Seeing Gian and Dazzy coming, Nobita waved his hand nonchalantly and said, "You're here? I thought you already knew about our family's situation, so you didn't come this morning." He threw his school bag on the ground casually. "What's going on? How did your family suddenly become like this?" Doraemon gave Gian and Dazzy the Doraemon key that he had treasured for many years and looked at him pitifully. He felt numb all over and said impatiently, "What's the matter with you? Please tell me directly, okay?" Nobita sat up and said, "We were playing baseball in the open space yesterday afternoon and accidentally broke a sculpture. The man asked us to pay 10 million yen in compensation. Our family can't afford this price at all, so it became like this." Then Doraemon looked at him and said, "Gian classmate, this is my most beloved Doraemon key. Can I sell it to you?" Gian, as he kept his face tight so as not to ruin his expressionless face, and thought about what they said behind his back. The vacant lot, isn't that my territory? He thought of this and said to the two people, "Can you take me to see that family now?" Nobita nodded. "Of course. What are you going to do?" He smiled. "Nothing. If you are lucky, maybe I can help you solve this problem." "What?" The two stood up immediately. "Are you kidding?" He pretended to be serious and told them, "When did I joke about this kind of thing?" Doraemon immediately took out the anywhere door and sent them to the location of the vacant lot. After going out, there was a large area of weeds. "Isn't this the piece of land behind the vacant lot?" Gian, as he looked around and said, "When did there become a family there?" Nobita and Doraemon shook their heads, indicating that they didn't know. He said to Doraemon, "Use the anywhere door to send me home now. I'm going to find something." The blue fat man nodded, and Gian, as he sent him back. At this time, Zyadishan was reading a book in the room. Seeing him coming back, Dekisugi was about to speak, but was interrupted by him. "Do you remember where the contract that the man in the suit brought before was placed?" Dekisugi nodded. "It's in the box in the study." He hurried to the study next to him, took out the deed, and looked at it carefully, and then put it in his arms. "When those people bought the land, they bought the small yard together. This guy dares to build a house on my land? Don't you know that even your house is mine?" Back to the open space, Gian, as he said to Nobita and the others, "Let's go. Let's solve this problem." The two heard it and jumped up happily. "Yeah. That's great. The family's money can be saved." Doraemon's focus is completely different. "That's great. I don't have to sell my Doraemon." He heard the blue fat man's cheers and couldn't help but complain in his heart. "Haha, it's time to still think about your Doraemon." While cheering, he knocked on the door of that family. "Here, who is it?" A man who looked about 30 years old walked out of this simple house. Seeing that it was the kids, he immediately let down his guard and came over to touch Gian Daz's head. "What's wrong, kids? Did he ask you to come and pay me?" Gian Daz hated it the most when people touched his head. Now that this guy dared to touch his head, he immediately felt unhappy. "Why do people like to touch my head nowadays? I tell you, I'm an adult. You will die miserably if you do this." He opened his hand and said, "When was this house built here? Why don't I remember it?" Seeing Yu and Daisy talking about this, the adult was not panicked at all. "This house has always been there, but the location is relatively hidden, so you don't know it." Yu and Daisy nodded and said, "Then please move out." Ah. He was very surprised. A kid asked him to move out of this house. This is not a joke. Kid, you are really humorous. This house is mine. How can I move out? He stretched out his hand to touch his head again. And as he grabbed his hand and turned his pig's trotter 150 degrees, close to the edge of fracture. "I don't care whether the house is yours or not, but you have to open your eyes and read it clearly. It is clearly written in my contract that this piece of land is mine." After saying that, and as he put more strength on his hand and put his contract in front of him, he read the terms of the contract with difficulty. Seeing the seal of the law firm on the contract, he knew that this kid was not joking, so he had to agree to his conditions. Yes, I know. I will move out immediately." Daisy saw that he was still sensible, so he let go of his hand. "Now, get out of here immediately." He stood up with difficulty, wondering why this kid had so much strength. He couldn't beat him, so he had to listen to him. "I'll pack my things and leave immediately." As he said that, he wanted to go back and take away his daily necessities and sculpture fragments. Seeing that he didn't know how to respect him, and as he put his hand on the ground and cast a second level spell instantly. "Didn't you understand? Get out of here immediately." After saying that, he used all his strength to lift up his wooden house. Looking at the wooden fragments flying in the sky, 3 of the 4 people present had their brains shut down. Now that person didn't care about the agreement anymore and ran away. Statue? That worthless thing. How could it be more important than one's own life? Just after he ran a few steps, and Daisy suddenly called him. "Wait a moment." His steps stopped involuntarily, and he turned his head to look at him with difficulty. Excuse me, do you have any other instructions?" and Daisy walked over and stood in front of him, asking him, "Why did you think of coming here to cheat the children?" When he heard this question, his heart suddenly skipped a beat, and he realized something was wrong. How did he know that they were here to cheat the children? Chapter 202, Remarks on the Release. This book has been written for more than 5 months, and now it is finally officially available. During this period, I also thought about giving up. Thank you for your support, which gave me the confidence to continue writing until now. Of course, their story will continue, and I will definitely stick to it until the end, and give everyone a good ending. Warm reminder, the next chapters will be charged. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 203, Prophecy Diary. But this guy changed his mind and thought that the other party was just a child, so it should be okay to fool him. So he pretended to stutter and said, I just think that children are more." Before he finished speaking, and Daisy reached out and grabbed his collar. "Do you think I can't see that you are lying?" Then he lifted him up and spun him in the air 3 times, and then suddenly threw him to the ground. Feeling that his body was about to fall apart, he lay on the ground and kept wailing, "Ouch, my hands, my back." and Daisy ignored these wailings. Anyway, he was not a good person. He walked to his side and punched him on the side of the head. Bang! The ground was dented by his ruthless iron fist. Looking at the hole on the ground, his eyes were straight. "I'll give you one last chance. Organize your words." and Daisy looked into his eyes and said expressionlessly. This time he finally broke down and stated his purpose. "Some time ago, the person in charge of Hongjiang Machinery Co. Limited found me and asked me to cooperate with them." At this point, Nobita and Doraemon understood everything. This was their strategy to seize Doraemon. And as he knew the whole story and remembered the prophecy that Doraemon was disassembled into parts. If he had not intervened in this matter, then there might be a small probability that Doraemon would be sold, and the scene in the prophecy would come true. Of course, he also believed in the character of Nobita's mother. They should not take Doraemon out for money. Maybe there would be other means. After figuring out all this, Yu and Azzy punched him in the face and made him faint. At the same time, he used mental interference to tamper with his memory and directly turned him into a mental patient. He dared to attack Doraemon, but he would never be soft-hearted. After solving all the problems, Yu and Azzy turned around and said to Doraemon, "Okay, your crisis has been resolved, go back and tell your mother." The two of them realized that Doraemon was safe now. Taking out the anywhere door again, Yu and Azzy picked up the middle-aged man and went back with them. At this time, another annoying guest came to Nobita's house. "Really, I said we won't sell Doraemon, please go back." Nobita's mother was rejecting the person in charge of Hongjiang Machinery Co. Limited at the door, and he was not angry, smiling and telling them his suggestions. "Think about it again, I'm offering 10 million. Your family should be very short of money now." They just came back and heard the guy's voice, and their anger rose again. The three looked at each other, picked up the man, and went downstairs to find him. Mom was still standing at the door rejecting other people's proposals, while Doraemon wiped his tears. "Even though I caused such a big trouble, Mom and Dad didn't mean to sell me. I'm so touched." Yu and Azzy went over and threw the man in front of the person in charge of the machinery company. "You should know this guy, right?" He saw that his partner was beaten up like this by them and hurriedly said, "What do you want to do? Violence is illegal." Dazzy walked forward and stretched his joints. "Aren't these two people colluded to make your family bear the debt so that they can sell Doraemon?" Nobita's parents also reacted. No wonder they always felt something was wrong. After rejecting them, they were inexplicably burdened with debt. And the timing of their reappearance was also very subtle, and the price they offered was exactly the same as the price they needed to compensate. After connecting all the above clues, it really makes people have to suspect that there is some hidden deal between the two. The man also knew that his affairs were exposed and he couldn't stay for long, so he quickly opened the door and ran away. Yu and Azzy wanted to go over and beat him up, but after thinking about it, he decided not to use violence in front of adults. After all, if he behaved too violently, the parents of other children would probably forbid him to play with their children. And Nobita and the others also adhered to their usual gentle style and just threw the middle-aged man out. In the adult world, it is really not okay to use violence casually. Although they were very angry, they would not be able to explain themselves if they beat someone. But if a child beat an adult, after telling others, everyone would only laugh at him for not being able to beat a boy under 10 years old. This can be regarded as a small benefit of his crossing. The matter has finally been resolved satisfactorily, and the job has been held. Then I will go to tutor Nobita, and remember to pay the salary. After saying that, Yu and Azzy pulled Nobita and Doraemon back to the room. At this time, the blue fat man was still not satisfied and took out a notebook from his pocket. "How dare you separate me and my family? It's unforgivable. I wrote it in advance." Then, Doraemon took his pen and wrote his revenge prophecy in the diary. Hongjiang Machinery Co. Limited closed down today, and all the company leaders became beggars on the street. Yu and Azzy looked at the date in the diary, which was February 10th. Today is Saturday, February 19th. Which means they will close down tomorrow. After writing, Doraemon put the diary back into his pocket. "This prop is too dangerous and the price is too expensive." The blue fat man did not intend to explain to Nobita, lest he use it for pranks. Nobita picked up his homework and started writing under Yu and Azzy's gentle gaze, and he also started doing his homework. Yu and Azzy had no time to write these 2 days because of the exorcism, and now he can finally solve a worry. After spending more than 2 hours helping Nobita finish his homework, Yu and Azzy finally breathed a sigh of relief. At this time, Nobita suddenly stopped him. "Yu, can I ask you a question?" Yu and Azzy nodded. "Go ahead, I'll see if I can answer you. I want to know, why are you so strong that you can directly overturn other people's houses?" What he did just now was too shocking. Even a simple wooden house could not be overturned by a human. Yu and Azzy smiled mysteriously. "You forgot that I'm the man chosen by the sun god as the messenger of God. If I'm not strong, why would she choose me?" The two of them also thought of the last time Yu and Azzy taught Dio a lesson, and they immediately understood. Now Nobita finally accepted this setting. No wonder the sun god chose you. Fat Tiger's loss is really not unfair. Hearing their praise, Yu and Azzy immediately began to be complacent. Of course, I'm invincible. However, Doraemon exposed him. Then you were taught a lesson by Letina last time, and in the end you were held in his hand. Yu and Azzy's smile froze on his face. You guy, don't give me face, right? So he put his hand on Doraemon's shoulder. I want to get to know you better. Can I tear you apart? Help. Doraemon threw the comic book in his hand and jumped out of the window. Chapter 204, Making a Snowman. The next morning, a cold wind woke Yu and Azzy up. It's snowing again. What a tragedy. He felt lonely when he thought that Nobita and his friends could ski happily again, while he could only stay at home. Forget it, let's go buy breakfast first. Yu and Azzy put on his shoes and went out in a summer outfit. It's snowing so hard today. Maybe it's the last snow of the year. He caught a few snowflakes and skipped all the way to the breakfast shop. After spending a long time with these lovely children, he sometimes became like a child. The owner of the breakfast shop still opened the door early. Boss, give me 4 buns. The boss inside came out with a smile. Okay, little boy, you are selling breakfast so early again. Yu and Azzy often bought buns from his house, so he was familiar with him. Here, take them, freshly baked buns. Be careful of the heat. Yu and Azzy handed him the money and skipped away. You are so energetic. The boss looked at his back and sighed. It's a pity that I'm old. The old man has been making breakfast here for nearly 30 years. After waiting for about 10 years, he will be almost retired. Dekisugi has also woken up. Seeing the snow outside, he also smiled. It's snowing again today. It seems that I can go out and play. But he may not like it, right? He said while changing clothes. But it is really cold today. Hearing his complaints, Yu and Azzy thought about it and felt that it was not good to feel the same cold as outside at home. He couldn't be like Nobita and the others, staying in a small heater all day long. Wait, I remember that I seem to have this magic pattern. He immediately immersed his consciousness in the magic pattern given by the soul-devouring monument. Finally, Yu and Azzy found what he wanted in the magic pattern that he classified as useless. It really exists. How can this thing be called useless? It is obviously very useful. This is a magic pattern that can maintain a constant temperature of objects. For an ordinary family, it is the most practical. Looking at the magic pattern, Yu and Azzy began to look for a suitable place to carve it. Today, I will carve this thing on the outer layer of the house. Then this house will be warm in winter and cool in summer. He was already looking for a knife everywhere, ready to start today's work. Nobita's house. Hello, it's Shizuka. What do you want to talk to me about? It's like this. I baked some cookies. Would you like to come over and taste them? Nobita immediately agreed when he heard that it was Shizuka who baked the cookies. Great, I'll call Dekisugi to come along. After saying that, Shizuka hung up the phone. What? Nobita immediately felt the malice of the world. If Dekisugi went, he would only become a foil. Not long after, their phone rang. Zion saw that Yu and Azzy was outside and didn't know what he was doing, so he went to answer the phone himself. Dekisugi, are you interested in coming to my house to eat cookies? Zion also agreed. That's great. By the way, is Yu coming too? Zion came out of the living room and asked Yu and Azzy about his plan. Shizuka baked cookies. Are we going now? Dekisugi nodded from below. Indeed they were going to leave now. Yu and Azzy shook his head. Then I won't go. This magic pattern will take some time to carve, and I don't want to waste all my efforts. Okay, I'll go tell him now. He ran in to tell Shizuka about his plan, and also changed into thick clothes before leaving. Just as he ran to the second floor to find clothes, a golden cloak flew onto his face. Then Yu and Azzy's voice came. It's very cold today. Wear this when you go out, so as not to catch a cold. Zion looked at the cloak and remembered the last time it acted on its own and flew off her body. If this cloak was also willful at Shizuka's house, then he would definitely not have the face to see her again. So he said to the cloak, can you just put it on over my clothes? The cloak flew onto Zion's body and merged into the clothes he had already put on. Feeling the warmth around him, Dekisugi hurried out. Then I'll go. Yu and Azzy answered him casually and then continued to carve the magic pattern. Because the house is too big and the shape is irregular, it took more than an hour to carve half of it, and it will take some time. Ha finally finished. Gian and as he looked at the magic pattern outside the house and said happily, although it is finished, there is still one process to complete. The next step is to adjust the temperature. Let me see, it can be set to a constant temperature of 27 degrees. He remembered what he saw in his previous life, saying that 27 degrees is the most comfortable temperature for people. But he quickly rejected this point. No, if it is a constant temperature, it is easy to get air conditioning disease, and the temperature difference between inside and outside cannot be too large. After struggling for a long time, Yu and Azzy finally decided on a large range. It is set to be based on weather changes. The indoor temperature is close to 27 degrees, but the difference with the outdoor temperature cannot exceed 10 degrees. Shizuka and the other four finished eating the biscuits and began to discuss what to do next. Nobita looked at the snow outside and suddenly an idea came to his mind. Why don't we go out and make a snowman? Shizuka nodded. Okay, I'll go prepare the materials for the snowman. Then, Shizuka took two coals and a carrot from the kitchen as the snowman's nose and eyes. Back in her room, Shizuka said to the boys, get ready, let's go. The four of them happily came to the open space, and Shizuka began to allocate the labor for this operation. Doraemon, you and Nobita will be the base of the snowman. Dekisugi, you will be the body of the snowman. I will be the head of the snowman. No one objected to Shizuka's arrangement, and started rolling snowballs. After more than 10 minutes, Nobita rolled a snowball that was almost 1 meter high. How about it? Is my snowball big enough for the base? Dekisugi came over to take a look and said, not bad, this size matches my snowball. Then he showed the snowball he rolled, which was a circle smaller than Nobita and the others, just right for the body of the snowman. Shizuka also came back with a snowball that was a little bigger than their heads. Oh, it seems that my snowball is not quite suitable, I'll make it bigger. Then she rolled the snowball on the ground to make it fit the body size. It's fine now, now let's assemble it. Everyone carefully placed the body snowball on the base, and then took the head and placed it on the body. After the initial assembly, Ziadishan used some snow to glue the joints. Finally, Shizuka stood on tiptoe to put eyes and a nose on the snowman. Looking at her work, Shizuka said with satisfaction, okay, now it's a snowman. Ah. Who did it? Chapter 205 Fat Tiger and the Snowman. Just as Shizuka was summing up, a snowball hit Shizuka's face accurately, and then a very familiar voice came from the side. Hey, how old are you? And you're still making snowmen? Everyone looked in the direction of the voice, and found that Fat Tiger and Sunia were holding a snowball gun and laughing. Damn it. Nobita saw his wife being hit, and immediately threw a snowball. Fat Tiger and his friends easily dodged such a weak snowball, and then started to pick up toy guns to fight back. Ah, it hurts. The four of them were constantly hit by snowballs, and they quickly ran behind the cement pipe to hide. Nobita hammered the cement pipe unwillingly with his hand. Damn it, if you and classmate was here at this time. No, it's better if he's not here at this time. Dekisugi immediately refuted Nobita. I'm worried that he will just throw the cement pipe over. Nobita and Doraemon were speechless for a moment, and calmed down, and thought about it. It's really possible. For the safety of Fat Tiger and his friends, it's better for Yuan and Dazzy to stay at home. HU. At this time, Yu and Dazzy, who was watching TV at home, suddenly sneezed. Rubbing his itchy nose, he wondered to himself, what's going on? Am I catching a cold? Snowballs kept coming from outside, and the four people were hit so hard that they dared not look up. Dekisugi could use his mental power to bounce the snowballs back directly, but he usually didn't use his superpowers on ordinary people. But Doraemon was very dissatisfied. He actually used such a simple toy to hit me, a future robot? It's really unforgivable. Doraemon, who couldn't bear it any longer, took out a prop from his pocket, an automatic snowball machine. This machine can automatically absorb snow and then help us have a snowball fight. Let's use it to make Fat Tiger and the others look bad. Then, Doraemon pushed the machine out of the cement pipe and set the snowball fight intensity to level 2. The two handsome guys outside had not yet realized the seriousness of the matter and continued to throw snowballs with their plastic toy guns. At this time, the snowball machine started to work, and the straw below absorbed the snow on the ground and processed it into snowballs. The hole on the top of the machine was aimed at Fat Tiger and Sunia, who were still reveling. Fire! With Doraemon's order, snowballs hit Fat Tiger and Sunia like a string of cannonballs. Before the two could react, the snowballs covered their faces. Then, countless snowballs fell on them, making them cry out in pain. Help! Mom! Finally, the two mischievous kids fled the scene, while calling for their moms. Seeing that his props had successfully repelled Fat Tiger and Sunia, Doraemon happily put away his props. Let them play pranks. Nobita noticed the intensity of the snowball fight set by Doraemon, and asked him, Doraemon, what does this snowball fight intensity mean? Oh, you mean this? This is a prop, to set the hardness and launch speed of the snowball. Level 2 is the strength of an adult, so it is enough to teach them a lesson. Shizuka smiled and said, since we have driven away these two annoying guys, it is almost time for us to go back. It is almost time for lunch now. Shizuka and Iki left, and Nobita was staring at the snowman in the open space. Doraemon saw that he was not in a good state, and went over to ask him, Nobita, what's wrong with you? Nobita looked at the snowman and said, I want to take it back too. Doraemon, do you have any ideas? In the afternoon, when Iki and Eiji were eating at home, the phone rang again. Hello, this is Dekisugi's house. Who are you looking for? Nobita's voice came from the other side. Gian classmate, we would like to invite you to come and witness the reunion of Fat Tiger and Snowman with us. He didn't understand what he was saying at all, so he expressed his thoughts concisely and clearly. Speak human language. Well, this matter is more complicated, so I'll tell you when you come over. By the way, remember to call Dekisugi. After saying that, he hung up the phone. And as he looked puzzled. What the hell? The touching reunion of Fat Tiger and Snowman? That guy would remember a snowman that had already melted? Holding back his mood to complain, he went to the second floor and told Zayashi what had just happened. Snowman? Is he talking about the one we built this morning? He put down the book and looked at Yu and Daisuke. He could only spread his hands. You ask me, how should I know? Why don't we go and take a look? Maybe it's interesting. He thought about it and felt that this was not a bad idea, so he stood up and said, okay, I also want to know what's going on. He came all the way to Nobita's house, and Sunia Shizuka was already waiting inside. Seeing the two people coming, Doraemon hurriedly greeted them. Gian classmate, Dekisugi classmate, here. And as he went over and grabbed his beard, how about it? What do you think about my suggestion yesterday? Nobita hurried over and stood between them. Okay, Gian classmate, stop joking now. Daisuke then let go of his beard and asked Nobita, okay, what do you want to do? Doraemon rubbed his face, pointed to the water movie machine on the ground and said, all this is because of that machine. Everyone looked at the machine, waiting for his explanation. The blue fat man took out a bottle of pills. After you left this morning, we used this robot pill to turn the snowman into a robot. Then the snowman changed its appearance. At this time, Zayashi said, could that snowman be the snowman this morning? Why is it different from the one we built? Nobita also touched his head and explained, I don't know. After using the robot pill, he rolled a few circles on the snow by himself, and then he became what he is now. And as he didn't know what the snowman they built in the morning looked like. Anyway, there is only a small head on top, and the whole body is below. As for the height, the body below is about 1.4 meters, and the head is only 30 centimeters. The difference is really huge. Doraemon continued to explain, and when we came back, he passed by Fat Tiger's house, and looked at it reluctantly. So we used this water movie, to check some of the snow's memories. After speaking, Doraemon picked up the water movie machine, and placed it in front of everyone. Now you can also take a look at the scene of Fat Tiger and the snowman, when he was a child. It's so nice to meet again. The scene gradually emerged in the water. Fat Tiger made a small snowman, when he was a child. The shape was exactly the same as the snowman now. Then, Fat Tiger made the snowman's eyes with coal, and placed it in his yard. So, this is why it refused to leave when it passed by Fat Tiger's yard. Yu and Daisuke saw this scene and expressed his guess. If this is true, then the reunion should be very touching, right? Chapter 206, a touching ending. Dekisugi also understood. No wonder the snowman's nose is an orange now. It turns out to be like this. After putting the orange on it, Fat Tiger put his scarf on the snowman and said, "Take care of yourself and don't catch a cold." So he has an extra scarf now? It really has a deep memory of Fat Tiger. Shizuka was moved by this friendship and wiped away her tears with her scarf. We must not let the snowman down. We must let Fat Tiger know that there is someone here who has been waiting for him. Everyone present was in tears and expressed their thoughts. That's right. Let's call Fat Tiger over now and let him take a good look at the snowman. With that, Nobita went to make a phone call. Others were in the yard of Nobita's house, imagining various situations when Fat Tiger and the snowman would meet. Shizuka was very excited. I think Mr. Snowman will be very happy. I wonder if he will cry. Doraemon looked unconvinced. This kind of makeshift robot should not be able to cry. Gian was also a little curious. Even if the snowman can't cry, I think Fat Tiger should cry, right? After all, he should be very moved to see each other again after 10 years of separation. Sunir excitedly raised his camera. No matter what happens, I will use this to record it. Gian and as he watched their discussion, and always felt that things were not that simple. I seem to have seen this episode. It's in the new show. What is the ending? He hit his head hard. After taking over the body, the previous memories will gradually become blurred, and some very important things will be remembered. But for a serialized cartoon like Doraemon with thousands of episodes, do you want to remember its ending one by one? Forget it. It will be faster to kill him directly. Although I can't remember what will happen in the end, but judging from Fat Tiger's personality, it shouldn't be a good ending. Gian and Azzy began to guess what will happen when the two of them meet, based on Fat Tiger's personality. Just when everyone was discussing heatedly, Nobita suddenly came over and said, "Everyone, stand up, Fat Tiger is here." Gian and Azzy didn't have time to think about it. Anyway, the real ending was about to appear in front of him, and he would know everything after seeing it. Fat Tiger slowly approached the courtyard and saw a huge snowman standing between us. Ziofu was ready and pointed his camera at Fat Tiger. He slowly took 2 steps forward, and a long forgotten picture appeared in his memory again. The nose made of orange, the same orange scarf, everything was exactly the same as in his memory. Fat Tiger was a little unbelievable. Could it be that you are the little snowman at that time? When the snowman saw that Fat Tiger had remembered his existence, it stood up, and it stood up. Gian and Azzy and Zayashin looked at his inexplicably stretched out legs and almost fell into a petrified state. "Little snowman." Fat Tiger shouted the snowman's name while running towards the snowman. The snowman also smiled, opened his arms, and ran towards Fat Tiger as if to give him a big hug. At this moment, it seemed that even the snowflakes around him turned pink, and hearts were floating in the air around him. Sunir watched the touching scene in his camera, tears welling up in the corners of his eyes. Zayashin and Shizuka also watched this scene with relief, and both put their hands on their chests and prayed. But Yu and Azzy always felt that something was wrong, and as the distance between the two of them got closer, this feeling became stronger. When the snowman jumped into the air, as if he wanted to fly over Fat Tiger, the discordant feeling in his heart reached its peak. Just when everyone thought they were going to hug each other, Yu and Azzy's discordant premonition finally came true. The snowman suddenly turned 720 degrees in the air, and then kicked Fat Tiger in the face. Nanny. Everyone covered their faces with their hands, not expecting this scene to happen. But this was just the beginning, and then the snowman grabbed Fat Tiger's scarf and kicked Fat Tiger in the stomach, pressing him to the ground and rubbing him hard. Everyone pointed at the snowman who was beating Fat Tiger unilaterally and asked Doraemon, "What is going on?" Doraemon quickly took out the water movie. "I don't know either. Why not see what happens next?" Then the blue fat man began to adjust the time and finally froze the time to what happened after Fat Tiger went out to play. When Fat Tiger stood in front of the snowman again, he suddenly picked an orange and put it in his mouth. Sure enough, the oranges are the best after being iced. Gian and Azzy looked at Fat Tiger like this and couldn't help but complain in his heart. In the middle of winter, you don't catch a cold when you eat iced food. You are in great shape. Then Fat Tiger grabbed its scarf again, pulled it to the ground, and stepped on its face with his little feet that had not grown much. Sure enough, it's best to use it to practice beating people. At this time, everyone looked at the snowman who was beating Fat Tiger, and it also used its own snow to make little feet to step on Fat Tiger's face, just like Fat Tiger when he was a child. And as his eyes instantly turned into a pair of dead fish eyes. Now he remembered everything. This is a story about a gentleman's revenge that is never too late. Yawning, and as he said expressionlessly, it turns out that this is retribution in this life. I'm really moved. Shizuka also pouted. Really, there were a few seconds when I really hoped that they could be together. Doraemon looked at the snowman who was still beating up Fat Tiger and said, this is really a deep-rooted hatred. After watching for a while, everyone lost interest. Let's go. Let's go. What else is there to see now? Then as he pulled Zyashin back, Nobita and Sunia were still very excited. Then you guys go first. This scene is rare. I have to take pictures of it all. Fat Tiger on the ground finally remembered what he had done to the snowman and quickly begged Doraemon for mercy. Help me, Doraemon. Think of a way to get it off me. Doraemon said he was not panicking at all. Just wait until it has vented its anger and it will come down by itself. After saying that, he walked towards his room and began to miss his favorite dorayaki. After more than half an hour, the snowman vented its resentment for the past few years and came down from Fat Tiger. Fat Tiger was like being pardoned and ran out of Nobita's yard screaming. Nobita and Sunia looked at the film in their hands and laughed strangely. How about going to my house to enjoy this Fat Tiger musin? The TV in my house is big and clear. Sunia opened his treasures to Nobita and extended a royal invitation. Nobita replied in a sinister voice, of course I'd love to. I must use the most expensive TV. The two friends left Nobita's yard arm in arm and went home at 8 o'clock in the evening. Thank you for your tips. In addition, this book has set up a group. 609,564,041. Remember to come and express your opinions. Chapter 207. End of friendship. In the evening, a guest came to their house again. Why are you here? Why are you not sleeping at home so late? What are you doing here? The two of them looked at Lee Zinayu in front of them, not understanding why he came to their house at night. Lee Zinayu handed them a stack of talismans. My father's great revenge has been avenged, and I should leave. These things are for you as a souvenir. What? This sentence shocked Yu and Dazi so much that he dropped his teacup. You are leaving just after avenging me? He nodded. Maybe there is no chance of seeing each other again, right? But I will definitely remember you. I will never forget the time I spent with you. After saying that, he quickly stuffed his talismans to them and then turned and left. He didn't want to leave, but his father had lost his power, and if he was not at home, he would have a miserable life. In the current family, he is the main branch, and if he doesn't have enough power, the people of the branch will not look at them well. Seeing him leave in such a hurry, and looking at the talisman in his hand, Yu and Azzy chased after him. Don't leave in a hurry, since you have given us a gift, we can't just not show our appreciation. Then, I took out the Nishu essence that I had snatched from Sadako, and carved a simple magic pattern on it. The Nishu essence gradually turned into a ball, and the elemental power around it began to gradually gather. Take this thing, I believe it should be very helpful for your cultivation. The magic pattern on it is a magic pattern of gathering spirits. Although it is only the simplest magic pattern, it should still be quite useful. The elemental power around is about twice as strong. And if there is anything urgent, you can also use this to contact us. Lee Zinayu took the little thing that Yu and Dazi had just made and nodded vigorously. Then, be careful on your own way. After the two of them sent him away, they slowly returned to Zyashin's house. As soon as they got home, Zyashin locked the door and stood in front of Dazi and looked at him. Seeing that he seemed a little angry, Yu and Dazi felt very puzzled. Don't you have anything to tell me? Yu and Dazi touched his head and thought to himself, what else is there? Didn't they cover up the fact that they secretly went to Hokkaido? Seeing that he didn't say anything, Chumashin grabbed his collar and pulled Yu and Dazi in front of him. What? I'm not as handsome as Isuka. What's a tough warrior? What's a love-hate warrior? You three teamed up to deceive me. His heartbeat suddenly accelerated. How did Chumashin know? Did Lee Zinayu tell Zayashin these things just now? It's obvious that you three went to Hokkaido to seek revenge. Why didn't you tell me? After that, he kept looking at Yu and Daisuke, waiting for him to give him a reasonable explanation. Seeing that he knew everything, Yu and Daisuke wiped the sweat off his forehead and asked him, "How did you know?" Seeing that this bastard admitted it, he loosened his grip a little. "Because you just admitted it yourself. The three of you went to seek revenge. And as far as I know, the only time you can hide it from me and gather enough fighting force is Friday night." Yu and Daisuke spread his hands. What else could he say? Just this one sentence could reveal his carefully planned lie. It was not known whether he was too careless or Chumashin was too sensitive. Since he knew it, he could only compromise. "Okay, let go first, and I'll tell you the reason." Chumashin then let go of his hand indignantly and stood aside waiting for his reason. Yu and Daisuke organized his words and told him his thoughts, because as far as I know, the resentful mother has the ability to pollute people's souls with resentment. If your soul is accidentally polluted, it will be very detrimental to your future. He was silent for a while and said, "Then have you never considered my feelings? I started practicing my superpowers just because I wanted to fight alongside you. If I were like you, what's the use of the superpower? Yes, it can make you smarter." Yu and Daisuke calmly stated the benefits of strong mental power. "Shut up, don't interrupt me." And at this point, he took a deep breath and roared out all his anger. "You actually said that I'm not as handsome as Jali Saka." Yu and Daisuke picked his ears. The sound just now was really loud and almost deafened him. "So this is what you care about, wasn't it, to coax you at that time? Don't take it seriously. Okay then. Now tell me again, who is more handsome, me or Jirasuka?" Yu and Daisuke thought for a while and covered his mouth with his hand. "No, I can't live with my conscience if I lie." Hearing this, he got angry again. "Why? You don't even want to lie?" He was even more angry. "This bastard gave you a way out, but you didn't even leave." Yu and Daisuke calmly put down his hand and told him the truth. "The weather is bad today. It's been cloudy all the time. I'm worried about being struck by lightning." Chumashin was silent for a while, opened the door, and then picked him up by the collar and threw him out. "You reflect on yourself outside." After that, he locked the door again. Yu and Daisuke walked aside and muttered, "You are still a child. Do you care so much about this kind of thing?" Then he used his telekinesis to build a snow house and said with satisfaction, "Okay, you are my home tonight." Then he crawled in through the hole. Chumashin sat behind the door, feeling very irritated. This bastard has no emotional intelligence at all. He can't say nice things. After thinking for a long time, he shook his head and comforted himself. "Forget it. Who told him to go out and play without me?" Then he returned to his bedroom alone. There were really a lot of troubles today. First of all, a classmate was leaving, which was not good. Then he found that he was deceived by the person he trusted the most, and he was even more upset. Finally, he covered himself with the quilt, tossed and turned for an hour or two, and finally fell asleep. The next day, after Yu and Daisuke got up, he found that the snow on the ground had melted, and his snow house escaped the disaster because of his elemental power. Yu and Daisuke knew that Chumashin was still asleep at this time, so he went to buy breakfast. When he got home, he directly used telekinesis to open the door from the inside. He walked into his room and saw that he was still sleeping. He looked at the time, and it was already 7 o'clock. Anyway, he should be awake, so Yu and Daisuke decided to give him a surprise. Throwing breakfast down, and then using the remaining snowflakes to make his hands extremely cold. Looking at the still defenseless Zayashin, he didn't care about the risk of losing his friendship and slowly put his sinful hands into the quilt. Ah! A scream broke through the sky and woke up the neighbors nearby. Chapter 208. Wonderful Clay. What are you doing? Don't you know it's cold? Yu and Daisuke was running in front, and Zayashin was chasing him with a pillow. He had just put his hand through his clothes and touched Chumashin's back. The sudden cold almost sent him flying. Yu and Daisuke was so excited that he was deformed. Ahaha. Although you are cold, I'm very happy. The two of them played for more than 10 minutes and finally ended because Zyashin fell down due to exhaustion. What's wrong? Did you sprain your ankle? Seeing that he fell, Yu and Daisy had to temporarily stop his happy time and go to see if he was okay. He covered his ankle and looked at Yu and Daisy angrily. He went over and helped Chumash to the dining table. Okay, we still have classes today. Eat quickly and then get ready to go. Then he left the restaurant and packed up the things they had messed up just now. When passing by the door, Yu and Daisy suddenly saw a stack of yellow things. He walked over and picked it up with some curiosity. What is this? Do we have one at home? After taking a closer look, he found that it was a talisman that Lisa Nayu gave them. This child is thoughtful. It's worth our taking care of him for a month. He put the talisman away carefully. He probably wouldn't use this stack of talismans at any time. After all, they were souvenirs from others. After putting them away, Yu and Daisy took out the crystal ball to observe what he was doing now. That's right, Yu and Daisy secretly put an observation mark in the Nishu essence given to him last night. Now he can use the crystal ball to observe what he is doing at any time. Have you boarded the plane? It seems that the trip is going well. After putting the crystal ball away, he also went back to the restaurant to enjoy his breakfast. After the morning fight, Izuki-chan now looks even more unhappy. Because we went out late today, we met Shizuka and the others. Hi, Izuki, good morning. The two smiled and responded to her. Shizuka, you're here early too. Let's go together. Shizuka ran to them and said, Izuki, why do you look listless? Hearing this, the corners of Izuki's mouth twitched twice. If you were also woken up in this special way and ran for more than 10 minutes, I believe you wouldn't be in high spirits either. The three of them walked into the school together. At this time, many students had already walked in one after another. After the teacher came over, he first announced a sad news. Today, the exchange student from China has gone back. Although he didn't stay with us for a long time, he is one of us after all. I hope you don't forget him. The students below answered in unison, yes. Okay, then everyone take out your textbooks and get ready for class. After school in the afternoon, Fat Tiger was showing off his muscles in the open space, and Nobita looked at Fat Tiger with envy. How's it going, Nobita? I've been working out my muscles, and now I'm a man with chest and abdominal muscles. Then he pointed at Nobita and said, and I'm going to announce that I'm going to challenge that guy Yu and Daisy later. Nobita's mouth twitched when he thought of Yu and Daisy directly overturning someone's house. After thinking about it, he decided to remind Fat Tiger, I think there's still a gap between your strength and his. How about waiting a little longer? Fat Tiger punched Nobita on the head. So you look down on me? See how I deal with you. After Fat Tiger beat Nobita, Nobita ran home crying. Doraemon, help me. Zyashin stood at the door, looking at Yu and Daisy who was about to go out with his school bag. So you just came back and planned to go out to play? Daisy stared with dead fish eyes and said, I don't see that you want me to go in at all. That's right, Demishin still resented Daisy for going out to play without him. Then see you tonight. After saying that, Demishin closed the door. Yu and Daisy yawned outside. Forget it, he should have calmed down tonight. I'll see where to go. After thinking about it, he just felt that it would be more convenient to go to Nobita's house. He clapped his hands and said, okay, Nobita, I'll go to your house to tutor you today, even if it's voluntary overtime. He walked into Nobita's house slowly, and as soon as he entered the door, he heard Nobita's excited voice. This prop is so fun. Doraemon, help me paint more here. He immediately became interested. Oh, does this guy have a new toy again? Let's go up and take a look. Opening the door of Nobita's room, he saw Nobita standing naked on the ground. Doraemon was holding some unknown things and was applying them on Nobita. Seeing Yu and Daisy coming in at this time, the atmosphere in the room suddenly became a little subtle. He stood at the door and pointed at the two of them, saying expressionlessly, has your relationship come to this? Nobita and Doraemon immediately waved their hands to explain, no, it's because of this body muscle clay. Classmate Gian, do you want to try it? Gian and Daisy looked at the yellow unknown object on the ground and was a little disgusted. What's the use of sticking this thing on the body? At this time, he prayed that the two would not say something about lubrication or something like that. This thing can make the muscles more developed. If you don't believe it, look. Then Doraemon and Nobita showed him the front of the painting they had just finished. From this angle, the two cute characters became two brothers, and the atmosphere in the whole room suddenly became anxious. It looks good. So were you discussing philosophy just now? People in this era don't know this joke, so they don't understand what he is talking about. Seeing that the audience was cold, Yu and Azzy took out his homework. Forget it, I'll help Nobita with his homework first, and then go out to play after I finish it. Although they looked like brothers, they knew very well that, even if they were real brothers, they might not be his opponents. Under the oppression of the devil Yu and Azzy, Nobita had no choice but to pick up his pen and start doing his homework. He also took out a pen and paper and tutored Nobita while doing his homework. The blue fat man ran to the side and used clay to complete his unfinished shaping. After more than 10 minutes, he finally had the long legs and perfect figure he had always dreamed of. Yu and Azzy was even more curious, so he also accelerated the progress of tutoring this time. Moreover, there was not much homework today, and it was completed in more than half an hour. Then they all cast their eyes on the clay. Nobita suddenly thought of something. By the way, why did you come here today, Yu and classmate? Yu and Azzy sighed helplessly. I accidentally made Dekisugi angry yesterday, and now he won't let me in. Just when the two of them wanted to laugh out loud, Daz's cold eyes made them swallow all their laughter. I think this thing is pretty good. It can match my power with a suitable body. Yu and Azzy also walked over, picked up the clay, and began to apply it on himself. Doraemon also began to help Nobita, completing the remaining parts. A few minutes later, two brand new brothers were born. Chapter 209 The World of Brothers. Yu and Azzy's height has increased from 1.4 meters to 1.8 meters. His muscles are ferocious, and he looks like someone who is not easy to mess with. Of course, this is based on not looking at his face. Because his face is still that of a child in his teens, there is a very wonderful contrast. As for Nobita, his height is about the same as Dazzy, both are about 1.8 meters, and his figure is also very well proportioned. Okay, now that we look so powerful, why don't we go out and teach Fat Tiger a lesson? Nobita looked at his new body, and his self-confidence began to swell. Of course, no problem, let's go now. Yu and Azzy and Doraemon both said that they had no objection, and the three brothers went out like this. When passing by the living room below, Nobita walked in and greeted his mother. Mom, I have finished my homework, so I'm going out to play. Nobita's mother turned around and looked at him. After finishing my homework. Who are you? Nobita Mako just turned around and saw that her children had become several brothers, and she was almost scared to death. Seeing her so frightened, the three of them couldn't help but smile excitedly. Then auntie, let's go. Without giving her time to react, the three of them immediately left the door of the living room, leaving Nobita Mako with a confused look on her face. As soon as she walked out of the door, Nobita laughed. Haha, did you see the expression my mother had just now? It's so funny. Yu and Azzy and the blue fat man also laughed. That's right, she can't recognize us. After laughing enough, they walked towards the open space. Fat Tiger was still in the open space, showing off his muscles with other children. At this time, Nobita suddenly said to Yu and Azzy, oh, by the way, Yu and classmate, Fat Tiger said he wants to challenge you today. Dazzy showed off his muscles at the time. This guy really doesn't know how to live or die. I'm going to teach him a lesson. Then he walked towards the ignorant Fat Tiger in the open space. At this time, the people who were flattering Fat Tiger around saw Yu and Azzy coming and quickly stepped aside, intending to watch this one-sided duel. Before, Yu and Azzy looked so thin and weak that he was not easy to mess with. Now that he has become this size, everyone knows to stay away from him. As for Fat Tiger wanting to challenge Yu and Azzy, just one look will tell the result. Okay. The three of them walked over in a neat pace and surrounded Fat Tiger. Just looking at Fat Tiger with kind eyes together, he was frightened and trembling. Fat Tiger is only about 1.5 meters tall now, and the shortest Doraemon among the three of them is also 1.6 meters tall. Seeing that he didn't say anything, Yu and as he reached out and touched his head, "Fat Tiger, I heard that you want to challenge me." He shook his head quickly. "No, you must have heard it wrong." Then Nobita stepped forward. "You dared to hit me just now. Do you want to hit me back now?" Fat Tiger finally collapsed and began to scream, "Mom, help me." Then he broke through their defense with his body and crawled back to the room. "Haha, look how scared he is." Nobita was so surprised by Fat Tiger's performance that he couldn't close his mouth. He lay on the ground and laughed while holding his stomach. Sunia came up and said, "Nobita, why did you three suddenly become so strong?" Doraemon didn't intend to hide it from Sunia, so he told him about the muscular body clay. After Sunia heard it, he began to imagine himself becoming as strong as them, and little stars suddenly appeared in his eyes. And this is not the most important thing. What is the most important thing in Sunia's heart? That's right, it's to grow taller. Only by growing taller can he be considered a real tall, rich and handsome man. "Doraemon, can you please?" Sunia wanted to hug Doraemon's face and beg, but found that he could only reach Doraemon's waist. The blue fat man did not refuse. "Okay, I know you want to grow taller, let's go back now." Nobita also stood up and said goodbye to Yu and Daisuke. "Doraemon and I will go back to help Sunia first. You can play outside first." Daisuke nodded. "Okay, I'll go get my things later." They went home first, and Yu and Daisuke walked towards the town. "Since I have nothing to do now, I might as well go out for a walk and show off my body." Not long after walking, a man who was also a brother stopped Yu and Daisuke. "Hey, friend, are you interested in participating in the wrestling competition?" Seeing that there was no one else around, Yu and Daisuke pointed at himself and asked, "Are you talking about me?" He nodded. "Yes, I'm a staff member of the wrestling competition, and I'm now inviting people with potential like you to enter." Daisuke did not refuse directly, but asked him first, "Participate in the wrestling competition? It seems very interesting. If you win, are there any rewards?" "Not bad. You aim for the position of winning from the beginning. I admire you more and more." He gave Daisuke a thumbs up and started to show off his muscles. "If you win, not only will you get an annual gym membership, but also a cash reward of 100,000 yen and a gold-plated trophy. How about it? It's very generous." Hearing about the 100,000 yen cash reward, he did not hesitate at all. "I want to participate. I don't know where to sign up." In the bedroom, Zyadishin had finished his homework and was reading a book. But in the end, Zyadishin put down his pen and fell into deep thought. "Did I go too far with Deiji? He doesn't have any bad intentions towards me. He just wants to protect me." He struggled for a long time and finally stood up. "I'd better go over and apologize to him." But soon after he went out, he saw Yamaguchi classmate turned into a brother and greeted him. "Good afternoon, Dekisugi." Zyadishin greeted him blankly, and then his face was messy in the wind. "What's wrong with me? Am I dazzled?" He rubbed his eyes hard and continued to walk forward with full of doubts. But not long after, Sunia walked past Zyadishin with his 1.4 meter long legs. "Good afternoon, Dekisugi." Looking at Sunia, whose legs were as tall as his own, Zyadishin felt that his worldview began to collapse. "What's going on? Have I stayed in the room for a year, so everyone has changed so much?" Zyadishin covered his head and ran to the street screaming. When he looked at the crowd nearby, he was finally relieved. The people here are finally normal. The pedestrians on the street now are indeed the same as usual, so the speed of Zyadishin's worldview collapse has been temporarily slowed down. At this moment, Zyadishin heard a cheer. "Hit, that's right, right there, use force, you will win." He looked in the direction of the sound and saw a group of people cheering around a ring. "What is that?" Out of curiosity, Zyadishin squeezed into the crowd and used his size advantage to come to the front. As soon as he regained his vision, he saw Yu and Daisuke also turned into a muscular man like Zyofu and the others, raising his hands and cheering. And under his feet, he was stepping on a man who was also a brother. "Let us congratulate Yu and Daisuke for winning this competition and successfully advancing to the next round." Demishin Yinke felt that his worldview had collapsed irreversibly. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. we cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 210. My name is He Who Does He. After defeating his opponent, Yu and Dazi returned to the sidelines to rest. Xiaoshan hurried over to him and said, "What's going on? Why are you still participating in the competition when you are like this?" Seeing his puzzled look, Yu and Dazi couldn't help laughing. "Actually, this is a Doraemon prop. It can temporarily give people such strong muscles, although it only looks powerful." Then he showed off his biceps, and the staff saw that I have a good figure, so he invited me to participate. The prize money is 100,000 yen. Xiaoshan looked at the opponent he had just knocked down and said, "So, you came to bully them?" Yu and Dazi looked as if it was a matter of course. "Yeah, if you don't want me to come in, can't I come out to earn some extra money?" Then he stood up and lifted Dekisugi up and put him aside. "Just watch here and see how I win." The physical fitness of the others was far inferior to his, and they could not be his opponents at all. It was only a matter of time before he won the championship. Soon, Yu and Dazi made it to the finals after overcoming all obstacles. At this time, his opponent welcomed an off-field player. The host's voice rang around the crowd. "This is the good seedling we just found, Mr. Gao Xian Wu." Yu and Dazi, who was drinking water, spit out a mouthful of water. "Fat Tiger? Why is that guy here? No, his strength is too far from these people, and he may get hurt if he fights." Yu and Dazi began to think of ways to save Fat Tiger's fate. But while they were thinking, Fat Tiger had already come to the competition arena with a bunch of decorations on his head. "Look, everyone, this perfect muscle and upright figure all show that he is a strong candidate for the championship of this game." The host was still desperately exaggerating Fat Tiger, and he also cooperated very well to show his muscles on the stage. Blue Fat Man and his friends finally came here with a brotherly figure, and they were also scared to see Fat Tiger actually on the competition field. What should I do? If Fat Tiger really competes, he may get hurt. Doraemon was anxiously turning around below, and Fat Tiger above was already preparing to face his opponent head on. Although this kind of muscle has no actual use, it really looks like it can give people confidence from the outside. Seeing that both sides were almost ready, the referee announced, "Now, the match begins." The two brothers in the field immediately collided with each other. At this moment, Fat Tiger and his opponent found that Fat Tiger's strength was very weak. In fact, it was not too weak, but it also depended on who he was compared with. Fat Tiger's strength was even comparable to some thin adults, but these were all bodybuilders, not ordinary people could compare. And his opponent's confidence, which was originally hit to the point of being almost gone, came back at this moment. "Since you are a flower stand, then I will not be polite." Crosslock. Fat Tiger was locked on the ground by the opponent's absolute strength and could not move. Alas, it doesn't seem to hurt. Fat Tiger wanted to cooperate and shout twice, but found that the opponent's moves did not hurt him. The people below were also stunned. What is going on? Everyone was thinking about this question below. At this moment, the blue fat man suddenly had a flash of inspiration and understood the whole story. "I know, because Fat Tiger's muscles are made of clay, the opponent's attack didn't fall on Fat Tiger at all, so it naturally didn't hurt." Yu and Dazi heard everything from below and began to think about how to deal with Fat Tiger, this difficult guy. 10 minutes later, the person on the stage fell down due to exhaustion. Wow, it's worthy of our Fat Tiger contestant. He actually dragged down the enemy with the hardness of his body. Fat Tiger confidently posed a pose and went off the stage. Seeing that the two were ready for the final match, the host began to take a halftime break. Then, the next one is Gottada Takashi vs. Yu and Dazi. Then pointed to Yu and Dazi. Yu and Dazi has unparalleled strength and crushed all enemies all the way. Then pointed to Fat Tiger and Gottada Takashi has absolute defense, enough to drain the opponent's physical strength. After introducing the two contestants, the host faced everyone again. In order to let us enjoy a more exciting game, we will give the two contestants 15 minutes to rest. Now, let our dance group help everyone pass this time. After saying this series of lines, the host left the stage. Following closely behind was a group of beautiful girls in super short dance costumes, who began to dance passionately on the stage. The cheers from the audience were getting louder and louder, looking forward to this so-called spear and shield duel. Zyadishan asked Dazzy worriedly beside him, "Is it okay? Fat Tiger looks a bit difficult to deal with." And Dazzy gave him a reassuring look. "It's okay. When have I ever lost to him?" 15 minutes passed in a flash, and the two of them walked onto the stage in the sound of the bell. At this time, Fat Tiger looked stronger than me, because he used more clay. "Student Gian, I have been hoping to fight you for a long time, and then defeat you fair and square." And as he folded his hands in front of his chest and said disdainfully, "It's just an empty shell that can only be seen. What's so arrogant about it?" Seeing the two of them on the verge of a fight, the atmosphere in the audience reached a peak. Okay, the final match is about to begin. The dedicated host did not forget to come out to show his presence. Remember that this match is sponsored and broadcast by Shanai Gym. Now, the match officially begins. As the bell rang, and as he rushed to Fat Tiger like an arrow from a bow and knocked him back with his strength advantage. He knocked him all the way to the pillar of the ring. Well, this attack doesn't hurt. Fat Tiger was startled by his action, but he felt relieved when he felt that it was not painful. Wow, it appeared. Ian's strength is really amazing, but Gangshan's body can also easily withstand this. Ian as he looked at Fat Tiger's face and said expressionlessly, "Do you think this is the end?" Then he picked up Fat Tiger with force, jumped onto the pillar, and then lifted Fat Tiger above his head. "Try this move." And as he threw him out, watch the moment when he landed in the air and jumped up again. He made a classic pose in the air and shouted the name of the move, "Crows on an airplane." Fat Tiger didn't expect and Dazzy to attack in the air and was frightened by his strange move. His body fell heavily on him, and then the two of them fell to the ground together. The powerful force directly destroyed the entire ring. The host immediately stood up excitedly. "What a beautiful attack. Make the enemy unable to dodge in the air, and then use gravity to amplify to break the opponent's body defense." Everyone must remember the name of this self-created move, "Crows on an airplane." Chapter 211 The end of the game. This is what and Dazzy thought of. The clay on the outer layer of Fat Tiger is like armor, which can block many attacks, but has low resistance to impact. He took advantage of this and transmitted the impact directly to his inside to break his defense. When the smoke from the destruction of the ring completely dissipated, the figures of the two people appeared in front of everyone again. At this time, Fat Tiger was lying on the ground, and his eyes became familiar mosquito-repellent eyes. "Congratulations to and Dazzy for successfully defeating Gotoda Takashi. I declare that the winner of this game is and Dazzy." The host walked in front of him and raised his hand high. When the people off the court saw the winner decided, the cheers boiled again. Many viewers thought it was just an ordinary friendly match, but they didn't expect to see such a wonderful scene. This time it was worth the trip. The current organizers are also very happy because of their participation, the quality of this competition is much better than originally planned. More people will know the signboard of the Flash Wing Gym. This time it can be regarded as a sure win. Nobita and the others hurried over and carried the fainted Fat Tiger away. This guy has been trying to challenge Deiji for a long time, even though he always failed. Now is not the time to discuss who succeeded. It is better to move him back and remove the clay. After all, there is still class tomorrow. If the teacher sees everyone like this, it will be better for his heart if he doesn't die of fright on the spot. Ian and Eiji also walked down the ring with the 100,000 yen he earned with great difficulty. "Why are you still standing there? Let's go." Seeing that Zyadishan was still standing there, Ian and Eiji smiled and slapped him twice. He didn't feel that he used much force, but Dekishan almost vomited blood because of his slap. Is this guy taking the opportunity to take revenge on me? This was the only thought in Zyadishan's heart. They came all the way to Nobita's house, and everyone had taken off the clay on their bodies. Fat Tiger was still dizzy at this time. He didn't expect that and Eiji's strength could actually hurt him through the clay. Let Doraemon use the clay remover to remove the clay on his body, and Eiji also took his school bag and prepared to leave. Before leaving, he suddenly said, "Fat tiger, if you want to challenge me, I'm always here to fight." Then he jumped away from here. "I just made 100,000 yuan today and I'm in a really good mood. It's also 5,000 or 6,000 yuan in Chinese currency. By the way, what are we going to eat tonight?" I turned my head and looked at Dekishan next to me. He thought for a while and said, "I want to eat Hokkaido ramen." "Ramen, right? No problem." He agreed on the spot. After returning, Yu and as he found the familiar branch. "I'm so sorry, I'm here again. This time it's ramen, please." Then he injected some vitality into it so that it would grow ramen fruit again. The neighbor's fruit just grew up and Yu and as he picked it and sent it back to the room. He placed a portion of the fruit in front of Xiaoshan. "Here, the ramen you ordered is here. Please enjoy it." Then he sat opposite and took out his chopsticks. "Well, I'm going to eat." After saying the respectful etiquette of the Japanese before eating, the only sound in the room was the sound of eating noodles. After eating, Xiaoshan suddenly looked at him seriously and said, "Yu and Azuki, I want you to promise me something." He put away his fruit shell and said casually, "Well, let me hear it. Next time you do something so dangerous, you must call me." When he heard it was this, he agreed casually, "Okay, of course, no problem." Hearing the casualness in Yu and Az's tone, he emphasized, "I want you to swear." "I won't." "Why?" "Because I'm afraid of being struck by lightning." "Get lost." After saying that, he threw the fruit shell in his hand at him in a rage. The next afternoon after school, because today was another evil Tuesday, he had to go to give Nobita extra lessons. But before that, he had to wait until Nobita was scolded by the teacher before he could leave. "Nobita, how many times do you want me to tell you not to sleep during class? Next time you do this again." That's right. Although he helped Nobita with his extra lessons, the number of 0 marks dropped significantly, but the frequency of sleeping in class did not change at all. After being scolded for a full half hour, the teacher finally let him go. At this time, Yu and Azi had finished his homework and was spinning his pen in boredom at his seat. "Let's go. I still have to make up lessons for you today." He picked up his school bag and went home with Nobita. On the way home, Nobita said dejectedly, "Oh, I was scolded so badly by the teacher today. After being kept by the teacher, I was scolded by my mother. Why is my day so miserable?" When passing by the open space, Fat Tiger and Sunia were discussing something on the concrete pillar. Nobita saw that it was them and ran over quickly. "Hey Fat Tiger, Sunia, what are you talking about?" The two of them saw Nobita and said to him, "We are talking about Iho rolls, but they are super delicious." Nobita put his hand on his chin and thought carefully, "Fool roll? What is that?" Iho and fool are pronounced similarly in Japanese. Seeing that Nobita was maliciously acting cute, the two of them laughed. "Haha, Nobita is really pure and hopeless." Yu and as he also covered his head with his hands. This kid must have been kicked in the head by a donkey. Nobita was embarrassed to see them laughing like this. So he hugged his hands and said in a condescending tone, "No matter what kind of fool roll this is, I won't eat these weird things." At this time, Shizuka's voice came from behind. I made some Iho rolls today, and I wanted to leave two for Nobita." Nobita was startled and quickly turned around to look behind him. At this time, Shizuka was looking at him from behind, with a slightly angry look on her face. Seeing his wife was angry, Nobita ran over to comfort her. "As long as it is Shizuka's food, no matter how strange it is, I will eat it." Shizuka heard Nobita say that what she made was strange, and she was immediately upset. "Since you said that what I made was strange, then you should never eat it for the rest of your life." Then she turned around and left angrily. "Shizuka, Shizuka." Nobita hurriedly chased after her, but no matter how he shouted, Shizuka just didn't turn back. In the end, Nobita knelt on the ground helplessly. How could this happen? Yu and as he went over and pulled him up. "Okay, go back to do your homework. Math will never be angry with you." Then he forcibly dragged Nobita back home. At this time in the room, Doraemon was facing away from them, and no one knew what he was doing. Nobita ran over, knelt on the ground and said, "Doraemon, help me, I'm terrible today." But Doraemon didn't even turn his head, still facing the window, his body trembling slightly and making a humming sound from time to time. "Strange, what is this guy doing?" Yu and as he released his spiritual power and found that Doraemon was stuffing a stick into his mouth. TSK, what? He's eating. After knowing that he was eating, he lost interest. And no matter how Nobita cried on the ground, Doraemon just didn't turn around. Chapter 212 Superhero Scroll. We are finally done eating. Nobita, you're back. The blue fat man quickly turned around and looked at Nobita. Seeing that Doraemon was finally willing to talk to him, Nobita's sadness disappeared in an instant. Doraemon, what were you doing just now? Why didn't you pay attention to me? The blue fat man smiled mysteriously. Well, you will know this soon. A few seconds later, a small boat appeared outside the window and slowly swam into the house. Along with the boat, came a snow white cat with a pink bow tied around its neck. This should be Doraemon's girlfriend, Xiaomi, right? Yu and as he looked at the kitten and thought in his heart, this kitten is really cute. It seems that both cats have good taste. At this time, the boat finally stopped at Nobita's desk, and the 7 gods of wealth on it threw down red petals. The wish has come true. The wish has come true. Doraemon hurried over to open the window and hugged his beloved girlfriend in. Mi-chan, I'm so happy to see you today. The blue fat man looked at Xiaomi with a crazy face, making Yu and Daisy uncomfortable. Speaking of which, Valentine's Day seems to be coming. Is it going to be hit by sweet critiques from lovers again? After the Fuchuan fulfilled Doraemon's wish, it turned around and left here. And Doraemon also began to explain to them the props he had just used. What I just ate is this superhero roll. The blue fat man took out a plastic box from his pocket, which also contained 3 superhero rolls. As long as you eat this super hamaki facing the fortune seat, one of your wishes will come true. Yu and as he looked at the hamaki and gradually began to think about what wish he should make. And Nobita thought that using this thing to make a wish seemed to make him and Shizuka reconcile. So he quickly asked for one. Seeing that he was about to use this prop, the blue fat man quickly reminded him, Nobita, it's not so easy to eat this ahamaki. Let me tell you the rules first. Nobita nodded, sat on the ground and listened carefully. First, say to this ahamaki, I'm going to eat. Nobita did as Doraemon said, I'm going to eat. Then a red arrow appeared above the head of ahamaki. This arrow is the position of fortune. Now you need to say your wish in this direction. Nobita faced the window and said, I want to make peace with Shizuka. Doraemon nodded and continued, finally, eat the superhero roll without stopping. Nobita didn't understand what Doraemon said, so he asked him, without stopping? What does that mean? The blue fat man thought for a while and said, it means you are not allowed to talk while eating, and you are not allowed to open your mouth. Eat it all in one breath. Nobita nodded, it's so simple, I'm starting. Then he stuffed the iho roll into his mouth. Just when he had eaten 1/3 of it, the door outside suddenly opened. Nobita, do you want to eat botan cake or senbei for snack today? But Nobita was eating the iho roll at this time, so he couldn't talk to her. Seeing that her son dared to ignore her, the mother immediately got angry. Nobita, I'm talking to you. How can you treat your mother like this? You have no manners at all. Nobita had to give up his iho maki and said, I know, I want to eat botan cake for dessert today, okay. After seeing Nobita speak, the mother's anger suddenly disappeared. Oh, is that so? Then I'll go prepare it now, and come down for dessert later. Then she turned around and left here, as if nothing had happened. Nobita stuffed the last 2 bites of iho maki into his mouth and said, Mom, really, can't you come later? Just when Nobita thought that his wish had failed, a small boat still appeared outside, with 5 small figures on it. Nobita jumped up in surprise. Great, it turns out that wishes can be fulfilled, even if you haven't finished eating? Doraemon covered his head with his hands. How is it possible? How can it be that easy as you think? The people on the boat appeared in their sight, but this time it was not the 7 lucky gods from before, but the 5 plague ghosts that made people shudder. As soon as the boat stopped, the plague ghosts on the boat began to throw beans down. What's going on? Doraemon, explain it to me. The blue fat man also began to avoid the beans. If you fail, there will be a punishment. Oh, it hurts. Why do I have to suffer? Just as Yu and as he was watching from the side, a plague ghost sprinkled beans on his face. After wiping the beans on his face, Yu and Daisy stood up. If the tiger doesn't show its power, you think I'm a sick cat. So he went over and grabbed 5 plague ghosts, threw them to the ground, and stomped on them twice with his feet. The force made the second floor tremble. Help, kill the ghosts. These little robots have a high level of artificial intelligence, and they can even ask for help. Seeing that the punishment was almost over, Yu and Daisy grabbed them again and threw them into the boat. The last kick was on the small sailboat they used to come over, kicking all the plague ghosts out. Next time you dare to come, I will use my exorcism, physical, to drive you away. Yes, we got it. The boat drew a Z shape in the air and quickly fled from this terrible place. Seeing that these plague ghosts finally left, Nobita and Doraemon finally breathed a sigh of relief. No, I still have to try again. Then, Nobita took out another superhero roll, said his wish, and started to eat. At this time, Mom came up with a large plate of peony cakes and placed them in front of them. Nobita, come and have a snack. This time, under the effect of the EHO roll, the target was still directly aimed at Nobita. At this time, Nobita was still madly stuffing the EHO roll into his mouth. Seeing that he still had about half left, Yu and Daisy guessed in his heart that he would probably fail again this time. No, if he fails again, I may not have a share of the EHO roll. He thought to himself in his heart and prepared to take action. Walking to Nobita's side, seeing that he was having such a hard time eating, Daisy felt a little sorry and said, "Let me help you." As he said that, he placed one hand on the back of Nobita's head, and with the other hand, he pressed the EHO roll in Nobita's mouth. Under the influence of external force, Nobita ate the whole EHO roll with difficulty. Then he turned around and said, "Okay, Mom, I'll eat it right away." Without the causal effect of the EHO roll, Nobita's mother left happily. The god of fortune outside also arrived on time, bringing good news from Shizuka. "Nobita, I'm really sorry about what happened just now. I shouldn't have been angry over such a small thing." It was Shizuka who had come downstairs to apologize to Nobita. Chapter 213 Food Show. Shizuka? That's great. Nobita quickly ran to the window and started a pleasant conversation with his wife. Doraemon next to him also started a dog abuse chat with his girlfriend Xiaomi. Yu and Daisy stood by and suddenly felt the deep malice of the world. This scene looks so beautiful, but why do I want to destroy it? He silently clenched his fists and uttered the helpless cry of a single dog. Helpless Yu and Daisy picked up the EHO Maki and said loudly, "I hope Nobita and Doraemon, lovers, will eventually become siblings." Seeing this, the two hurriedly ran to him to stop him. "Yu-Anjin, calm down." At this time, the anger of the Big F group had filled their hearts. He wanted to break up these couples. Ahaha. Then Yu and Daisy was about to stuff the EHO Maki into his mouth. No. The two covered their heads and were completely desperate. At this moment, Xiaoshin's voice came from outside. "Shizuka, you are here too." The two of them quickly leaned out of the window and shouted to their savior, "Izuka-san, help me." Seeing that Xiaoshin actually came, Yu and Daisy had to put down the superhero roll in his hand indignantly. Xiaoshin came up to understand the whole story and looked at Daisy with some dissatisfaction. And he glared back not to be outdone. "Okay, Daisy-kun should not do this prank again. You can continue to do your homework." Shizuka also nodded and said to Nobita, "Nobita, do your homework quickly. I made 2 super large EHO rolls for you. You must come." "Shizuka, don't worry, I will definitely come." Nobita held Shizuka's hand and looked at Shizuka affectionately. Seeing these two people so lingering, the blazing holy fire behind Yu and Daisy ignited again, ready to start a new holy war. Doraemon quickly separated the two. "Okay, now Nobita has to do his homework. You guys go back first." Nobita reluctantly returned to his seat and started doing his homework. Looking at the Super Ebisu roll, Yu and Daisy thought for a while and said, "I want a top grade wind attribute magic stone." Then he turned to the direction of the arrow and began to stuff the Super Ebisu roll into his mouth. He is not like Nobita, who only needs 3 seconds to eat this thing. After eating, Yu and Daisy licked his fingers with satisfaction. "I didn't expect that this thing is actually quite delicious. I like it very much." At this time, a small wooden boat came over outside, with 7 little people in different costumes standing on it. Doraemon pointed at the lucky ship in surprise. How is it possible? I've been staring at Gian. Nobita also covered his head and collapsed on the table. What should I do? Am I going to become a brother and sister with Shizuka? In the lucky ship, a green stone slowly flew towards Gian as he. It's come true. It's come true. The wish has come true. After fulfilling his wish, the lucky ship turned the bow and slowly left here. Gian as he took the wind attribute magic stone and put it in his pocket. Don't worry, I didn't wish for you two to become brother and sister. It's rare to be able to fulfill a wish, so I won't waste it in a place like this. The two of them were relieved and began to continue doing their own things. After tutoring Nobita's homework, Daisuke went to Shizuka's house with them. Because Shizuka made a lot of Iho rolls, she invited everyone to taste them together. As soon as they arrived at Shizuka's door, Nobita started to be crazy about her again. Shizuka, let's taste the Iho rolls you made. In addition to Zayashin, Fat Tiger and Sunia were also there. Hey, you're finally here. We are getting impatient waiting. The two impatient guys had already begun to blame them for being so slow. Seeing that everyone was here, Shizuka served the Iho roll she made. Sorry to have kept you waiting. Then she took out the largest plate and handed it to Nobita. Here, this is specially made for you. Nobita took the plate of food and thanked him repeatedly. Then, let's get started. Gian as he took the Iho roll and stuffed it into his mouth, tasting it slowly. Before, he ate very quickly to prevent emergencies. Now, he is tasting delicious food, so of course he has to chew slowly. He put his finger in his mouth and licked it twice. This tastes really good, almost as good as the Super Iho roll. Others also exclaimed in admiration. Shizuka is really talented in making food. When they got home, they saved the effort of making dinner. Gian as he took out the wind attributed magic stone and began to think about how to deal with it. I don't have any good magic metals right now, so I have to put it aside for now. He didn't plan to keep this magic stone for himself, but to make a magic tool for Zayashin. His wood spirit staff should still last for a while, and he has the dark blade, so he doesn't have any special needs for a new staff for the time being. He put the magic stone into his cloak and began to practice magic and physical skills outside. In this way, a peaceful day passed. And the next day, he received good news. What did you say? Your family is going to make seafood pizza this afternoon? Gian as he looked at Sunia who was showing off the king's treasure house and felt a little helpless. Yes, I called you here specially. Sunia smiled at Gian as he. Because he had rescued Sunia from Fat Tiger many times, Sunia called Daisuke this time. Okay, if possible, call Demishin too. Gian as he talked to Sunia while packing his school bag. Zyofu agreed. Don't worry, I've called him. Remember, it starts at 3:30. Then he waved and left the classroom. Gian as he also carried his school bag and left the school with Zayashin. At 3:30, everyone arrived at Zyofu's house on time. At this time, a golden-haired chef took out a brand new pizza from the oven. Ah, you came just in time. The pizza is just out of the oven. Then, Jin Shanshan pointed at the pizza and began to introduce to them how luxurious this pizza was. This is a pizza made for us on the spot by a chef from Italy. All the ingredients have just been airlifted in, so they are very fresh. Then he distributed the pizza to them. Come on, everyone, try this seafood pizza. Gian as he took the pizza and slowly put it into his mouth. Well, the taste is distinct, and the pulled string is also very tough. It is really worthy of being a pizza made by a professional chef. Gian as he pulled the string half a meter long and slowly tasted the taste of the pizza. They also praised the taste of the pizza, with happy smiles on their faces. Fat Tiger tasted the pizza carefully, tears streaming down his eyes. It's so delicious. This is the first time I've eaten something so delicious in my life. Chapter 214 Fat Tiger's Surprise Pizza. Fat Tiger looked at the half piece of seafood pizza in his hand and was determined to share this happiness with others. After everyone finished eating the pizza, they said goodbye to Zyofu and went home. Gian as he looked at the time. It was already 4 o'clock, and it was time to go back to prepare dinner. At this time, Zayashin suddenly slapped his head. Oh, I forgot that many seasonings at home are gone. And even the dishes have been eaten. And as he yawned, "It's okay, I'll go out to buy it now. You go back to do your homework first. You cook when you go back, and I'll do my homework." Zayashi nodded. "Okay, I'll go back first. You should have brought money, right?" Dazi gave him a reassuring look, and then they parted here. When they came to the vegetable market, he began to struggle about what to eat tonight. "Let me see, I'll buy some radishes, green vegetables and bean sprouts today." After paying the money, he took the vegetables to the butcher shop next door to buy meat. "Are we late? There's only pork left. I wanted to buy some beef." In the end, he could only buy 2 ordinary pork chops and let Mushin make pork chop rice. After buying the vegetables, he suddenly saw the afterglow on the ground. "I didn't expect it would be dark in just a short while. Winter really hasn't passed yet, but it will be soon." He walked briskly on the way home. At this moment, and as he suddenly sensed that 2 people were arguing in front of a lottery shop. "So do you have this set of 100,000 numbers?" "What? This one is also sold out." "This set of 200,000? What? This one is not available." And as he stepped aside and quietly observed the 2 people. "Yes, they are Nobita and Doraemon. You actually bought lottery tickets here with the winning numbers. Could it be that set of lottery tickets worth hundreds of millions is here?" He immediately remembered the plot of this episode. Nobita and Doraemon went back to the past to buy lottery tickets, but found that their father bought a lottery ticket worth 300 million yuan, but his father lost it. And as his eyes condensed, "I want this lottery ticket." When the 2 of them found the lottery ticket, but had to go back because they didn't bring any money, and as he immediately rushed out of the shadows, aiming at the billionaire. But at this moment, a bunch of aunties rushed out from the side, aiming at the lottery stall as well, ready to compete with him. "HMPH, you guys want to rob me?" And as he immediately accelerated and rushed into the lottery booth. "I want the lottery ticket they just threw away." The boss was frightened by his momentum and handed the lottery ticket to and Dazi tremblingly. He threw down 300 coins and rushed out of the encirclement of the aunties that was about to close. "How it's really limited. I almost missed my billionaire." And Dazi happily threw the lottery ticket into his cloak and continued his way home. At this time, a terrifying atmosphere began to rise in the open space. That's right, after Fat Tiger made up his mind, he asked Doraemon for a convenience store and started making pizza. Everyone knows that Fat Tiger is an independent and special person, especially in cooking. Therefore, when making pizza, he stuffed cicadas laughs, salted fish and other things into the pizza. Purple mist rose, and a strange smell that ordinary people could not stand slowly spread to the town. Everyone closed the doors and windows, fearing that the smell would spread into their homes. Looking at a purple unknown object, Fat Tiger smiled. "Finally finished my debut, haha." On the way home, and as he couldn't help but take out his lottery ticket and look at it. "Is the lottery date in 5 days? It's really a long waiting process." He put the lottery ticket worth hundreds of millions of yen back and jumped back home. "Yinkei, come out and open the door for me." Dazi knocked on the door outside, but there was no answer from inside. What's going on? Did Zayashi go out? Thinking secretly, and as he slowly took out the key from his pocket. At this moment, the door suddenly opened, and Zayashi pulled him in anxiously. "What's going on? Are you playing a spy game? You're acting so mysterious, like you're secret agents." He ignored his complaints and quickly covered and Dazi's mouth with his hand. "Shh, don't make any noise." Then he used his mental power to scan the surroundings, and was relieved after confirming that there was no one around. "Fortunately, those guys didn't notice you, otherwise it would be a big trouble." Zayashi covered his chest and said with lingering fear. And as he also put away his playful look and asked him, "What's going on? Is there a superpower causing trouble?" Zayashi shook his head. "No, but it's many times more troublesome than what you said." Dazi was very curious what could have scared him so much, and it was something in the normal world. "It's like this, Fat Tiger just made a bunch of pizzas on a whim." Hearing this, and Dazi didn't care. "So what? As long as I don't eat it, isn't it okay?" At this time, his face changed again, but here's a problem. He went over and forced Doraemon to help him distribute the pizza. and in order to ensure that he would not be beaten, Doraemon could only use the props from the future world. Yu and Daz's originally contemptuous gaze was put away, and cold sweat slowly flowed down his forehead. According to what you said, if Doraemon saw it, then Xiaoshan nodded. Yes, anyone seen by the two of them can't refuse pizza. My mental power has seen two people who were forced to eat pizza and fell to the ground. Yu and Daz took out the wood spirit staff without saying a word. Barrier. City of Clouds. He used the wind attribute magic stone he had just obtained as an energy source to create a small foggy area. People here, as long as they don't successfully break this barrier or get his permission, it is absolutely impossible to walk in. Okay, I believe they won't be able to get in for a while now. The area around the house has turned into fog, and the outside world cannot be seen clearly. Even if they use their detection skills to spy, they can only see a gray area. Seeing this situation, Xiaoshan finally sat on the ground and felt relieved for the time being. By the way, Dazzy, what vegetables did you buy? And as he handed him his basket of vegetables, this is today's dinner. As for the Baymax outside, let it be wronged for the time being. At this time, Doraemon and Nobita were wearing gas masks and standing at their door. In their hands, they still held the last two pizzas that represented sin. Looking at the fog around, Nobita asked in a low voice, "Is this the last one?" The blue fat man also replied in a gloomy voice, "Yes, only the ones with the best academic performance are left. But it seems that they are not so easy to deal with." Chapter 215 Confrontation. Both of them noticed the fog surrounding them. They had walked for a long time before they reached the house. They also found that the closer they were to the center, the harder it was to walk around, and the greater the chance of getting lost in the thick fog. The two walked out of the gate of Mushin's house and walked towards their house along the short cement road on the ground. But after walking for a long time, they found themselves back to the starting point. Damn, this guy's really not easy to deal with. He actually summoned the fog. Nobita was indignant outside. Doraemon began to think deeply. He always felt that Yu and Dazzy was very wrong, especially after he became the envoy of the sun god last time. Could it be that this guy can use his divine power at will since the last time? Judging from his performance during this period, it is not impossible. Then the blue fat man made up his mind. No, I believe that technology must be much more powerful than magic. Since conventional methods can't approach you, then I can only use the future props again. Doraemon reached his hand into the pocket of Sin and took out the prop, the guiding light. Nobita, get ready. When this light comes on, jump into it. This way you can reach their home directly. Nobita nodded while wearing a gas mask, ready to break through the fog together. Now, start the guide light. Doraemon's chubby hands pressed the switch, and the light of the guide light began to flicker. Damn, this guy's really hard to deal with. Doraemon knew that this was a confrontation between props and magic. However, the barrier made by Yu and Dazzy in a hurry could not resist the crystallization of future technology, and finally the light of the guide light reached the door of Demishin's house. Yu and Dazzy, who was doing his homework, immediately felt that his barrier had been broken and hurried downstairs to tell Xiaoshan the news. Xiaoshan was so scared that she dropped the spatula on the ground. So, we have to eat that pizza? Dazzy shook his head. Impossible. How can we die so easily? With his encouragement, Demishin cheered up again and prepared to fight for their future. If they ate that pizza, they might not have a future. Go and close all the windows and block any possible entrances, including the sewers. Okay, after that, I'll guard the second floor, and the first floor is up to you. After a brief discussion of the strategy, the two of them went their separate ways. Yu and Daz's barrier contained a little bit of spatial ability, so there was still some time. After they had almost dealt with this place, Nobita and the others ran outside the house. I didn't expect that this guy's fog was so difficult to deal with. It took so long to walk even with the guide light. Nobita and Doraemon stood on the ground for a while, panting. After a while, they regained their energy, stood in front of their door, and began to knock. Yu and Dazzy was guarding the door. How could he agree to them? So he stood behind the door without saying a word, to prevent them from suddenly coming in. The two people who sent warmth outside saw that Yu and Daisuke and Emushin pretended to be away and began to discuss a solution. What should we do, Doraemon? There are no props to use. The blue fat man took out a magic weapon from his pocket, the penetrating ring. Since they won't let us in, we can only think of a way ourselves. Then Doraemon stuck the ring on the door of their house, and a dark hole appeared inside the ring. Daisuke immediately took out his staff, wind magic, wind barrier. An invisible wind wall appeared inside the penetrating ring, trapping them inside and preventing them from moving forward. Seeing his props blocked by the invisible barrier, the blue fat man was also a little annoyed. Damn, this guy's not as easy to deal with as Angshin and the others. After returning from the last adventure, he really still has some divine power. But this is interesting. In the future, we have done a very thorough study of this kind of supernatural events. Then Doraemon took out a small book, magic handbook. Just write the spell and the expected effect on it, and you can cast magic. He took out a pen and wrote on it, just say the two words, break. You can break all the barriers that block people from moving forward. After writing, Doraemon pointed to his wind barrier and said, break. At this time, Yu and Daisuke suddenly felt that his barrier was being disintegrated by a magical force. Damn, I want to fight against technology now. Is it too difficult? It's not that easy. He forced himself to stabilize, and then pointed his staff at the hole of the penetration ring. Wind magic, air cannon. Just when Nobita and the others were about to pass through the penetration ring, a shock hit them back to the starting point. Then, the magic manual in Doraemon's hand was confiscated by Yu and Daisuke's mental power and rolled into the penetration ring. He looked at the book and said, such unorthodox methods should be burned by the holy fire of the FFF group. Golden flames emerged from his hands and burned the seemingly ordinary manual. Doraemon heard Yu and Daisuke's voice and knew that the magic manual could not be saved. But he was not too heartbroken because the booklet was originally a cheap one. The kind that had to be thrown away after a few uses. Since we can't break through the main door, let's go from the side. Doraemon made his own decision and started to go around. Seeing that they seemed to want to come in from the living room door, Daisuke immediately ran over there and cast magic to meet the enemy. Ice magic, cold current. A chill spread from the floor, lowering the temperature outside to -40 degrees. The air was filled with a heavy smell, making people dare not breathe at all. Damn it, they actually treat us like this. Look at me, the adaptive light. The blue fat man shone the adaptive light on the two of them, and then he was able to move freely in the cold wave. Seeing that they were approaching the window at a high speed, Yu and Daisuke could only use a combo. Ice magic, crystal wall. Blue magic flashed, and the ice wall rose out of thin air, blocking all the windows on the first floor. Doraemon saw that he couldn't get in from the first floor for a while, so he immediately changed his strategy. Nobita, let's go from the second floor. The two took out the bamboo dragonfly and prepared to fly to the window on the second floor. Yu and Daisuke knew that the opportunity had come and immediately shouted, Yunkei, cooperate with me. Zyashin upstairs immediately understood his idea and responded loudly, understood. Daisuke and Zyashin used their mental power to roll up the surrounding air at the same time, forming a small tornado. You two running dogs of Fat Tiger, get out of here. After saying that, the two of them threw Nobita and Doraemon into the tornado without mercy. The two immediately rose with the wind and soared up to 90,000 miles. Chapter 216, The Fury of the FFF Group. I finally got rid of that horrible dish. It was really thrilling. In just less than 10 minutes, he actually consumed 1/3 of his magic power. And the storm that was set off at the end also consumed a lot of their magic power. Zyashin was also in shock. Yeah, it's a good thing that the two of them didn't come in. Fat Tiger's stuff is really. Last time, just a mouthful of soup made him sick. The power can be imagined. Nobita and Doraemon were thrown hundreds of meters by them before they barely stopped. Nobita, what should we do with the remaining 2 pizzas? Nobita said with a wry smile. What else can we do? Throw them away quietly. Doraemon also sighed. I didn't expect that Yu and Daisuke could actually use divine power. Just as the two of them were chatting casually, a dark figure slowly emerged behind them. You two just said how to deal with the remaining pizza? Of course. Nobita suddenly recognized that it was Fat Tiger's voice and immediately changed the subject and said, "Of course, eat it yourself." Fat Tiger nodded with satisfaction. "That's about right. Come, let me see how happy you are when you eat it." Nobita and Doraemon looked at each other and stretched out their trembling hands to the pizza box on the ground. The next morning, when they went to school, they saw that all the other classmates looked half dead. Daisy was a little relieved about this. It seems that everyone was hurt yesterday. Zyadishan also nodded. "Yes, fortunately we successfully defended the line." The girls in the class were in good spirits, and everyone was holding a small box, chattering together and discussing something. However, Yu and Daisy soon knew what they were discussing, although he didn't want to know so soon. After school in the afternoon, they came to the place where they changed shoes. When Zyadishan opened her locker, a lot of chocolates poured out of the locker. "Wow, so many classmates gave me chocolate. Daisy, check if there is any chocolate." Daisy remembered that today is February 14th, the evil Valentine's Day. He looked at the cabinet in front of him and felt the deep malice of the world. "I hope there is chocolate in my cabinet as well. Just one piece will satisfy me." As he prayed, Yu and Daisy opened his cabinet. It was still empty inside, with nothing except his things. The girls next to him immediately discussed quietly in the back. "What? Who would give him chocolate? Yeah, compared to my Zyadishan, he has no advantages at all. And he doesn't talk much all day long. Why is he pretending to be cool?" Those guys thought that he couldn't hear them if they spoke in a low voice, but in front of Yu and Daisy, whose hearing was enhanced, it didn't work at all. "Hey, strange. Why is there an extra torch in my hand?" He looked at this inexplicably extra torch and slowly turned to Dekisugi. "Forget it. No matter where it comes from. Welcome the wrath of my FFF group." Zyadishan felt bad at the time and quickly picked up the chocolate and ran away. Daisy chased after him. "Don't run. I won't do anything. I just want to tie you to a pillar and burn you to death with holy fire." Nobita also came to the shoe changing room and found his locker. "Will I receive chocolate today? I'm so looking forward to it." When he opened the locker, he found that it was even emptier than Yu and Daz's locker. What? Valentine's Day is such a shitty holiday. He put on his shoes, closed his locker, and returned home all the way lonely. "Doraemon, help me. I really want to receive a piece of chocolate made by Shizuka on Valentine's Day." Zyadishan still couldn't escape Yu and Daz's pursuit, and was eventually tied to a tree on the back mountain by him. "Dazi, stop joking, okay?" After Yu and Dazi sealed his mental power, Dekisugi had no way to break free from his restraints. He was still adding firewood under Zyadishan's feet. Very angry, "You received so many chocolates today, and your whole body is filled with the sour smell of love." Zyadishan hurriedly smiled and said, "It's okay, they are just gossiping behind my back, not that serious." He put the torch that came from nowhere under his feet and said, "But the main reason why I want to burn you to death today is not this. Do you know why?" Zyadishan thought about it and finally had to shake his head and admit, "Well, I don't know." And as he raised the torch high, "Because when you ran away, you bastard actually took the chocolate with you. Now you are facing the wrath of my FFF group." Doraemon took out a red origami from his pocket. "Then you can use this." Nobita pointed to the small piece of paper and said, "What's the use of this thing? Just unfold it?" The blue fat man nodded and then said, "Not here. The room here is too small. Let's go to the open space." Nobita and Doraemon, the good friends, walked to the open space and unfolded the red piece of paper in his hand here. A piece of paper not even the size of a palm, after unfolding in the open space, became the size of a house. Even the walls and the roof appeared. "This is the love house. As long as you walk into this house, you will fall hopelessly in love with the first person who walks into the house." Nobita's eyes lit up immediately after hearing this effect. "Really? That's great. I'll call Shizuka over right away." The blue fat man hurriedly chased after him. "Nobita, listen to me. The effect of this house will only take effect inside the house." And the two ran away in the chase. In the process, Doraemon also successfully explained the precautions of the love house. Shizuka was preparing chocolate for Nobita at home, and suddenly Nobita came and knocked on the door. She quickly changed her apron and walked to the door to open it. However, after she opened the door, she just stood at the door, with no intention of letting Nobita in. She said expressionlessly, "Nobita, what can I do for you now?" Shizuka apologized to Nobita in her heart. "I'm sorry, Nobita, in order to give you a surprise, I have to let you go now." Nobita didn't care about her cold attitude at all, but said, "Shizuka, I have a very beautiful little house here. Why don't you come and help me with my homework?" After hearing this, Shizuka immediately refused. "No, I have something else to do now." Seeing that Shizuka refused so straightforwardly, he quickly said, "Shizuka, the house is really beautiful. Why don't you come and take a look, just for a while?" Seeing that Nobita put himself in this position, Shizuka had to agree. Anyway, there was still a while before the next procedure, so it would be okay to go over and take a look. "Well, I really have something else to do here, so I can only go for a while." Shizuka left with Nobita. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 217, The Fury of the FFF Group, Part 2. Really, Deiji-kun, don't do this kind of thing casually, it's very dangerous. Dekisugi covered his arm that was strangled and complained in his ear, and Yu and Deiji, with a pile of trophies on his head, walked with him on the way home. Yes, in the end he still couldn't be cruel enough to do it. After all, Dekisugi didn't deliberately offend him, and Yu and Deiji couldn't say that he would burn him at the stake for heresy because of a momentary displeasure. After the final negotiation, Dekisugi gave Yu and Deiji half of the chocolate he got, and then he stopped his dangerous actions. "I'm curious, why do so many people compete to give you chocolate? Is it just because you are handsome and have good grades?" Zayanshin scratched his head, thought for a while and said, "I don't know. But if you take the initiative to make friends with them, I believe you will also receive a lot of chocolate." Yu and Deiji has never been interested in these children's topics, so he didn't talk to them much. Boys are okay, after all, he can even watch Doraemon, and Lion Mask is about the same. As for the topics that girls talk about, for details, please refer to Dancing Angel. When they passed by the vacant lot, they suddenly saw a pink house on the vacant lot. What's going on? Why is someone building a house on my land again? Yu and Daisy was unhappy at the time. It really ignored the ownership of the land. So he walked to the window and planned to tell them to get out. Just as he was about to speak, the sweet voices of Nobita and Shizuka came from inside. "Nobita-kun, as long as you are willing, I can always give you my homework." Nobita's face was as red as a persimmon, and he covered his head and said, "Really? Then I want a lot of chocolate." Shizuka lay on Nobita's chest and said gently, "I'm making that thing. I was going to give it to you. I didn't expect you to. It's so annoying." Hearing that Shizuka was already preparing chocolate for him, Nobita became even more arrogant. "It turned out that the goddess has always liked me." Yu and Daisy accidentally ate a ton of dog food. It was okay to watch Zayanshin collecting chocolate just now. After all, it was just her wishful thinking, and the damage to him, a single dog, was limited. But Yu and Daisy was watching Nobita and Shizuka being so affectionate outside the house, and they were showing off to him so much, that he wanted to die. He knelt on the ground. "You are less than 10 years old. Why do you know how to fall in love? Why are you so outstanding?" After a pause, he continued, "And it's okay for you to show off your affection, but you have to come to my place to show off, which is really unforgivable." He recalled his 24 years of being single, and suddenly felt like he was trapped in endless darkness. At this moment, a ray of light gave him guidance. Yu and Daisy reached out and grabbed it. When he came to his senses, he saw that there was another torch in his hand. "That's right, the FFF group is my final destination. Now, let these heretics welcome the baptism of the holy fire." Thinking of this, he added the 3rd level giant strength technique, and he lifted up this damn broken house. "You two heretics, let the holy fire purify your sins. Look at my immortal torch." When Yu and Daisy lifted the house, the effect of the love house disappeared, and the two returned to normal. and Shizuka finally realized that something was wrong. She was like a different person just now, and she actually wanted to do that kind of thing with Nobita. When she thought of this, she was furious, slapped Nobita in the face, and then walked away angrily. Shizuka, listen to my explanation. Nobita covered his swollen face and hurriedly chased after him. Yu and Dazi saw this change and stood there for a long time. Even the immortal holy fire in his hand went out. Zayanshin came over with the remaining chocolates. What happened just now? He shook his head, indicating that he didn't know. Forget it. No matter what happened on this sinful day, breaking up a couple is a couple. Yu and Dazi figured it out quickly. Anyway, he is not the one who is troubled now, so let Nobita, the love saint, pay for himself. Zayanshin held her chocolates and sighed helplessly. I always feel that Yu and Dazi is abnormal today. He became strange since he took out the torch this afternoon. Could it be that Valentine's Day is so harmful to the spirit of magicians? He thought to himself. How could such a weakness of magicians like them be an insignificant holiday? No matter how he thought about it, it was a bit wrong. Yu and Dazi threw away the torch again, pulled Zayanshin, who was still in a daze, and went home. There were still some leftovers from last night's dishes, which should be enough for dinner. After returning home, the two of them put down the chocolates in their hands and then went to the room to do their homework. Friday morning, at school, Yu and Dazi sat in his seat and stretched. It's Friday in a blink of an eye. Time flies so fast. He ate a lot of chocolates last night and felt a little bored today. And there was also an unexpected gain last night. That is, Shizuka gave him a piece of chocolate. She said, Gian, thank you for helping me get rid of the influence of Nobita's props. This chocolate is a thank you gift. Seeing that she gave him chocolate for this reason, Yu and Dazi happily accepted this unexpected surprise. I didn't expect that I could get chocolate by breaking up a couple. Then my Valentine's Day in the future. Seeing Yu and Dazi grinning in his seat, Zayanshin came over to remind him. Dazi, what are you thinking about? He quickly put away his smile and said, nothing. Isn't it this afternoon that we are going to have a holiday? I'm just secretly happy. After school, they went home and spent a few minutes to finish their homework and then came to the open space together. At this time, Ziofu and the others were chatting in the open space, and Ziofu was the most excited. I'll tell you, when technology is developed in the future, I can ask my dad to buy us tickets and go to the moon to play. The others looked at Ziofu with envy. Being able to leave the earth and go to the universe is one of the things that children yearn for. Even Zayanshin beside him inadvertently revealed a yearning look. Ziofu looked at everyone and enjoyed the feeling very much. If you want to go, I can also let my dad buy your tickets. The others immediately raised their hands and said, great, Ziofu, you must buy me a ticket when the time comes. Ziofu agreed one by one and then said to Nobita, Nobita, don't even think about it, you can't do it. Chapter 218, Alien Visitors. Seeing that Tsunia rejected him again, Nobita was very disappointed and asked why. Because it is very troublesome to go to space. You have to go through very hard training. You'd better forget it with your small body. The others all looked as if it was a matter of course. When Nobita saw that even Shizuka didn't speak for him, he suddenly became angry. Well, since you can only go to space in the future, I will ask Doraemon to take me to space to have a good time. Fat Tiger and Shizuka couldn't stand the temptation, so they hurriedly chased after him. My dear friend, wait for me. Tsunia was very angry when he saw that the others had left. But when he thought that they could go to space soon, he was envious. After struggling for a while, he could only temporarily put aside his pride and walked over together. When Zayanshin saw that Nobita was going to find Doraemon, she quietly poked H's arm with her hand. He understood what Ikizan was thinking and said, well, I believe Doraemon will let us join, because I usually give them extra lessons. So they followed behind everyone. Just when no one noticed, in outer space, a small spaceship quietly landed on the back mountain. After the cabin was opened, several people of different shapes came out of the ship and began to collect data. A group of 6 people came to Nobita's house, and his mother was cleaning at this time. Seeing them coming together, she knew that they were probably looking for Doraemon to borrow props. so she didn't say anything special, just said welcome, and squatted on the ground, and continued to wipe the floor. Excuse me. Everyone carried their shoes and carefully walked over the floor that the aunt had just wiped, and came to the second floor. Doraemon was eating dorayaki and reading comics on the ground, and suddenly a large group of people rushed in, scaring him. What's the matter? Nobita, you didn't get into trouble again, so I helped you clean up the mess. This was the blue fat man's first reaction. Nobita saw that he had misunderstood and quickly explained to Doraemon the purpose of our trip. No, we want to go to the universe to play, so we want you to take out the props. Doraemon immediately refused with righteous words. No, you are still too young. It is too dangerous to go to the universe now. This is indeed the truth. Even in the future, going to the universe still requires the accompaniment of adults, and non-professionals can only go to places with safety facilities. The real exploration of the universe is carried out by astronauts carefully trained by various countries. Seeing that Doraemon refused so straightforwardly, everyone had to give up their plans. However, although I can't let you go to the universe, I can let you experience the fun of space war. Seeing that they were so disappointed, the blue fat man felt a little sorry, so he took out a small game box. This space war game box allows you to drive a spaceship. Now everyone come and experience it. The blue fat man opened the top of the game box, and all 7 of them were sucked in. Yu and Daisy only felt the scene in front of him twisted for a moment, and then he saw the boundless starry sky. Countless stars shone in the darkness, emitting soft light. It's a pity that this is not a real starry sky, otherwise I can feel the laws of the stars in the Sunday. Slightly disappointed, he then turned his attention to the game. Going to the universe to drive a spaceship was also his childhood dream. On this platform, a spaceship appeared in front of each of them. The colors were also different. The 7 colors of red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple just formed a rainbow. Okay, everyone get on your own airship and start listening to me explain the rules. Yu and Daisy walked to the purple spaceship in front and listened to the blue fat man explain the rules to them. Everyone listen. First I will explain to you how to control it. The joystick in your hand controls the direction. Pulling back is to rise, and pushing forward is to descend. I don't need to tell you about left and right. The button on the joystick is to fire the laser gun. The pull rod next to it is to control acceleration and deceleration. You try it first. Yu and Daisy carefully pulled up the joystick, and the spaceship slowly left the ground. Other spaceships also began to slowly take off, and everyone was adapting to the control method. Seeing that they all knew how to do it, the blue fat man continued to explain to them. There is a small screen in front of you, which is used for communication. The destination we are going to fly to this time will also be displayed on it. Okay, now there will be a few numbers in front of everyone. Just press the numbers to divide into groups. Yu and Daisy chose number 6 where Zyadishan was without hesitation, and Zyadishan also chose number 7 where he was. Fat Tiger and Ziofu were divided into a group, and the remaining 3 people also formed a team. Then the grouping is completed, and this game is about to begin. As soon as he finished speaking, a number appeared in front of their screens, which was the countdown to the start of this game. When the number became 0, all the spaceships were fully powered and flew out of the starting point. On the back mountain, the few people picked up the soil on the ground and put it next to their noses to sniff it. What a fresh smell. It's really full of vitality. A small ball of light also agreed with this view. Yes, the soil of this planet is really full of vitality. And the air here is also very fresh, very suitable for us to live. The leading boy put down his helmet, revealing a childish face. Yes, the air here is really good. If possible, I would also like to live this kind of down-to-earth life. A simple robot behind also came over and said, yes, I have been drifting on the spaceship for so long that I have almost forgotten what life is like on the planet. The ball of light immediately laughed at him. Don't be funny, we were all born on the spaceship. When did you live on the planet? In this way, the group collected the air composition, soil vitality and some plant samples of their planet amid laughter. Okay, we have enough data. Now let's hurry back to the space drifting fleet and tell them the situation here. The robots Lojin Korokoro immediately saluted to show that they would obey the order, but Freya flying in the sky refused his request. Not yet, I still need to collect more data and samples. Seeing that her old problem had come back, Liang said helplessly, well, we will wait for you on the spaceship first, and you should come back soon. Freya said goodbye to them and flew away from the back mountain. Liang complained casually, there is really nothing we can do about her. Let's go back and wait for her. Just when they were not paying attention, a small crystal fell out of Liang's pocket. Chapter 219 Game Out. After they set sail, they each flew to the destination according to their own routes. Xiaoshan was very excited when he got on the spaceship for the first time. Let's go. Let's rush to the destination in one go. And as he rejected his invitation, really, it's so boring to go directly to the destination. This is the man-made meteorite belt. It would be a pity if we don't take a look around. Xiaoshan immediately felt that what and as he said made sense, so he smiled and replied to him, okay, let's take a look around here. So the two of them separated and started sailing in this area of debris. Really, this zero gravity situation is really annoying. He sat on the spaceship for a while and found that he was able to stay in position completely because of the seatbelt. It was very uncomfortable to be so tight. But there is also an advantage to this. That is, no matter how you change direction in the universe, you will not feel dizzy. It's just that this helmet is a bit annoying. It's actually a green helmet. As for the speed, under the deliberate control of Yu and Dazuki, they have been hanging on the flank of Nobita and the other three, waiting for the two restless people of Fat Tiger to take the bait. In this process, he also began to get familiar with the operation of this spaceship, to prepare for the next battle. In this way, they sailed peacefully for nearly 10 minutes. Before they knew it, the journey was halfway through, and Fat Tiger and Sunia finally couldn't wait any longer. While they were constantly playing new tricks, Yu and as he felt two malicious forces approaching. Since he entered this small space, he has been using his induction skills to the maximum, and the diameter of 5 kilometers is within his detection range. This is not to say that his mental power has skyrocketed, but because he gave up the precision mode and only included some things with obvious characteristics into the detection target. Even if the target is blurred, it is possible that an important thing will be missed due to the large range. As for the current target he has set, creatures with souls. I knew these two guys had bad intentions. Xiaoshan, get ready to pick up the leak. He immediately communicated with his teammates, and Xiaoshan also made an okay gesture to him. The two of them just went around to the side in tacit understanding and completely disappeared from their sight. Sunia was still unable to find them, so he had to ask Fat Tiger for his opinion. Fat Tiger, we only see Nobita and his group now. Should we take action? Of course, they may have gone around to the front, quickly get rid of Nobita and his group, and then chase after Mushin and Yu and Dazuki. The two quickly reached a consensus and pushed the lever forward to the bottom, and the speed of the spacecraft began to soar. At this time, Nobita and his group had no idea that the disaster was slowly approaching, and they were still charging forward without worries. Nobita dodged several meteorites with a beautiful drift, and then did not forget to show off in front of Shizuka. How about it? I'm awesome. Shizuka looked at Nobita so cool and smiled, and then reminded him, Nobita, you have to pay attention to the front. Doraemon also hurriedly reminded him, Nobita, look, there is another group of meteorites ahead. The slow-witted Nobita hurriedly looked forward, and a fragment that was almost as big as a small planet blocked the way. Damn it, I finally got a chance to show off in front of Shizuka, but I won't be defeated by you so easily. So Nobita pressed the button on the joystick, and two beams of light hit the meteorite. When the dust cleared, the surface of the meteorite was intact. Oh no, it's going to hit. When Nobita had already reacted, the distance between the two was very close. He quickly pulled the joystick, and the spaceship flew almost close to the surface of the meteorite. Haha, what do you think? I told you I'm awesome. Nobita, who survived the disaster, still did not forget to show off in front of his goddess. Just when he thought he was safe, a mountain appeared in front of him and blocked his way. Nobita was not panicked, but thought carefully about how to deal with it. The distance is too short now. No matter which direction we fly from, there is a high possibility of crashing. What is that? Nobita saw a gap in the middle of the mountain. He was stunned for a while, and then he began to be ecstatic. God has a way out. I know how to get out of this death zone alive. He turned the joystick in his hand, and the flying angle of the spacecraft began to change, from the original horizontal line to a vertical line. The spacecraft flew out of the mountain by rubbing against the rocks on both sides, and the other two were terrified. Success. Nobita happily took his hands off the joystick and cheered in his seat. Shizuka also admired him sincerely. Nobita, you are so awesome. I thought we would crash just now. Doraemon also wore a green helmet and praised Nobita. Yes, Nobita, you performed very well just now. I thought you were going to lose. The blue planet in the distance was already clearly visible. When Nobita and his friends were ready to rush to the finish line in one go, a laser suddenly came from the back and fell in the middle of the three people. However, the three of them were lucky and none of their planes were hit. Then the blue fat man immediately gave the order. Everyone spread out first. No matter who you are, don't let them hit you easily. Understood. Nobita and Shizuka's spaceships flew to both sides. Since Fat Tiger and his crew were wiped out by Nobita alone last time, they agreed to kill Nobita, who was the strongest in shooting, first. As for the other two people, they were not to be feared at all. So the two of them followed Nobita's spaceship and tilted to the right, chasing him relentlessly. The laser shot at Nobita many times, but he dodged it flexibly. The blue fat man was very worried watching from the side. Nobita, if you get hit again, it's over. Turn 180 degrees quickly, go around behind them and fight back. Nobita immediately responded, understood. Then he pulled the joystick down and once again used the trick he had just used to avoid the giant meteorite, trying to go around behind them. But Fat Tiger and Sunia were not so easy to deal with. They immediately noticed his intention and turned around as well. The three ships met head on in the starry sky, and both sides pressed the laser launch button at the same time. Several green lasers collided in the air, and finally in an explosion, all turned into points of light in the universe. The airships on both sides staggered past each other, but the wings of Fat Tiger and his crew collided with Nobita's spaceship. Nobita's spaceship immediately broke down due to damage to both wings. He pulled the joystick in panic. No, the spaceship no longer listens to my command. As Nobita shouted, the spaceship crashed into a meteorite. The game box was opened, and Nobita was kicked out of the game. This game prompts that player number 5 is out. Nobita looked at the game prompt outside. Oh, I didn't expect it to end so soon. After a while, the explosion animation appeared again on the game screen, followed by the elimination of players number 3 and 4. Fat Blue and Shizuka were also kicked out of the game. Chapter 220 Machine Failure. Ouch, it hurts. Shizuka fell to the ground and landed right on Nobita. She quickly stood up and apologized to Nobita. I'm so sorry, I accidentally knocked you over. Nobita didn't care about the little pain at all and was still immersed in what happened just now. Doraemon saw that Nobita was about to be exposed and hurried over to help Nobita up. Nobita, are you stupid because of Shizuka? Wake up quickly. Hearing the voice of the blue fat man, he woke up from his dream and quickly said, it's okay, Shizuka, why would I care about such a small thing? Seeing that Shizuka didn't care about Nobita's distraction just now, the two of them secretly breathed a sigh of relief in their hearts. After Fat Tiger and his partner defeated the three weaklings with a combat power of only 5, their morale was high. Sunia, listen carefully, we will chase them now and kill those two bastards, Dekisugi and Yu and Dazuki. Sunia nodded, no problem, let's go now. A voice sounded behind them. Fat Tiger, Sunia, it's not good to say bad things about others casually. The two of them trembled in their hearts, and then another slightly manic voice appeared in their ears. Who did you two say was a bastard just now? Are you tired of living? 10,000 beasts galloped through the hearts of the two, and they smiled bitterly a few times, accepting their fate. The communication equipment of the game can only be used when it is very close, except for teammates. In other words, they are already in the field of vision of each other. Just when the people outside were discussing what to do, the game box of the Great Voyage of the Universe was opened again, and Fat Tiger and his partner were also ejected. Then Fat Tiger stood up and shouted at the game screen, "You two, what kind of heroes are you if you use sneak attacks?" Nobita outside silently complained, "Didn't you also use sneak attacks just now?" Even Sunia took 2 steps to the side, indicating that he didn't know him. Zyashin and Daisy didn't want to pay any attention to them at all and started to sail towards the finish line. Doraemon also said, "Okay, since they have already won, then let's change to a simpler game. What do you think?" The others thought that, since they had nothing to do now, it would be nice to play something else. The blue fat man reached into his pocket again and took out a huge host and a space seat. "This prop is a virtual space capsule. Come, let me show you." After saying that, Doraemon was about to sit on it and operate it, but a hand suddenly reached out and pushed him aside. "Such a fun thing. Of course I'm the first to play it." Doraemon wanted to stop him, but Fat Tiger's restless hands had already started to press randomly on the machine. "Is that so? It seems that I'm still very talented." After that, everyone felt that the gravity in their room had been lost and began to float in the air. "Really, Fat Tiger, you have pressed the virtual button of the space capsule. Now there is no gravity in the room. Everyone should be careful." In the surrounding space, many objects began to float in the air. Everyone also began to gradually enjoy the fun of weightlessness, such as flying, drinking juice, etc. Without anyone noticing, some pure water dripped into the game cabin of the Great Voyage of the Universe. At this time, Yu and Daisuke and Emu-shan were rushing to the final destination, but suddenly the spaceship trembled and then lost power. What's going on? Did the spaceship suddenly lose power? They immediately noticed the abnormality of the spaceship and tried to use the joystick to save the plane's decline. After many attempts failed, they wanted to contact the teammates next to them. But after the machine broke down, even the communication equipment could not be used. Soon, they began to worry about what to do, and at this time, a huge meteorite fragment appeared next to them. If they were to follow their current flight trajectory, they would definitely collide with it, and the plane would be destroyed and everyone on board would die. Damn it, I really can't get in touch. It seems that this is the only way to face the impact. Yu and Daisuke made a prompt decision and took out his cloak. "Go over there immediately to protect Zyashin's safety." Then he threw the cloak out of the cockpit, smashed a hole in the glass, and the golden cloak turned into a stream of light and flew towards Zyashin's cockpit. At this time, he also began to tear his seatbelt. In this situation, it is easier to die with a seatbelt than without one. But I don't know what material this seatbelt is made of, and with his strength, he couldn't break it for a while. Damn it, this seatbelt is too tight. If I use the dark blade, I will easily hurt myself. The damage of that sword is even worse. I don't know if I can withstand it. Can I just bear it? Yu and Daisuke immediately took out the wood spirit staff, wind magic, wind barrier, ice magic, ice barrier, strengthening magic, giant strength. The air in the cockpit formed a protective layer around him to prevent him from being too damaged during the descent. And the giant strength not only strengthens the strength, but also strengthens the body's ability to withstand blows. I have done everything I can. Now it depends on my luck. As he spoke, Yu and Daisuke's spaceship hit the debris strait, and the explosion left a huge hole on the ground. And because the impact of the golden cloak changed the course of the spaceship, Demushin avoided a direct impact. When it finally landed on the ground, the ship slid on the ground for several kilometers before stopping. When the spaceship stopped, Zyashin saw the black smoke at the rear half of the tail and immediately decided to leave the spaceship. Damn it, I have to get out quickly, otherwise it will be troublesome if it explodes. He quickly used his mental power to directly decompose the safety rope, opened the hatch, and was about to leave. But just after opening the door, Zyashin was blown away by the strong wind due to the air pressure. After finally holding back the last breath of air, he quickly used his mental power to stabilize himself. No, there is no air here. I have to go to the spaceship to find out if there are any props. In the current situation, he can only take the risk of going back again. But just as he walked under the spaceship, he caught a glimpse of a few sparks coming out of the tail of the plane. He immediately realized that something was wrong and turned around to try to get away from the spaceship. But when he found out, it was too late. The spaceship exploded the moment he turned around. Xiaoshin's mental barrier only blocked it for less than a second before it shattered. At this moment, a golden stream of light rushed over and wrapped him up, and a force hit the barrier of the golden cloak, pushing the ball far away. After stopping, the ball turned back into the shape of a cloak, and the golden cloak left a layer of energy shield on his body to ensure his normal breathing. Xiaoshin stood up intact and thanked the cloak. "Thank you so much for what you did just now. By the way, how is Dazzy now?" The cloak didn't want to talk, so it wrapped his hands and took him to where Yu and Dazzy was. At this time, there was only a pile of fire pits and metal scraps on the ground where he was. In this hellish scene, how could there be any survivors? Chapter 221 The Lost Box. Izuki-chan didn't care about anything else and rushed into the fire to dig out the scrap metal, trying to prove that Yu and Dazzy was still alive. But the golden cloak flew over, took Xiaoshin out of the fire, and stopped him from getting closer. "What are you doing? Don't you care about his life or death? He is the benefactor who helped you recover." After saying that, he once again ignored the obstruction and rushed to the fire. Seeing that he couldn't communicate with him, the cloak had to disperse his spirit and explain the situation to him. "He is fine. Temperature. Don't disturb him." Xiaoshin heard the cloak say that Yu and Dazzy was fine, and his originally excited mood began to calm down slowly. He raised his hand, but found that there was no sign of burns on it. Temperature, could it be? Xiaoshin touched the nearby flames, but found that the flames here were not hot at all, and even felt a little cold. At this time, the cloak came again, and took him away from this area, and he no longer tried to rush in. The flames were not very hot. This strange phenomenon was naturally caused by Yu and Dazzy, which meant that his current situation was not too bad, so there was no need to worry. Everyone outside was having fun, and suddenly Nobita accidentally farted here. Then, Nobita ran around the house like he was on a rocket. Doraemon did not forget to popularize science at this time. Oh no, farting in a zero-gravity environment is as powerful as a rocket. Shizuka covered her nose with disgust. "Really, Nobita, why are you so annoying?" Then everyone watched Nobita jumping up and down. In this case, no one could stop Nobita from riding a rocket. The mother below was also annoyed and walked up. "Really, can't you be quiet when playing in the house? It was fine just now." Just as the mother was about to open the door, Nobita accidentally hit the button of the virtual space capsule. An enlarged sign suddenly appeared on the display, and then the whole house fell into a zero-gravity state. Doraemon recognized the meaning of the sign. "Now the house has become a space capsule. We have to find a way to restore it." Nobita's mother floated in the air, and she was furious when she saw that her children not only did not restrain themselves, but also played with her. "Nobita, I will never let you go." She opened the door angrily and saw that the things inside were in a mess, and she was even more irritated. Nobita saw that his mother was angry, and he panicked immediately, and his hands and feet began to move around in a hurry. At this time, Nobita accidentally touched his desk lamp, and suddenly they both felt like they were riding a rocket. The desk lamp broke the glass of the window, and the air pressure blew everything in the room out. "No, we have to find a way to turn off the machine." The blue fat man tried to move to the location of the virtual space capsule, but because of the air pressure, he was sucked into the broken window. "Damn it, if this continues, we will all be finished." So the blue fat man tried to adjust his energy output, wanting to open his horsepower to the maximum. But at this moment, the virtual space capsule was sucked over and hit Doraemon's head. Doraemon, who was still reading his skills, had no ability to resist and was hit in the head by this machine. When two things collide, one of them must be injured. Obviously, the blue fat man's head, which was made of unknown material, was much harder than this broken machine. So, the virtual space capsule exploded. When the smoke and dust were dispersed, the interior of the house had become a mess. The others finally stood up, but they had to face the next explosion. Nobita. A roar broke through the sky, and everyone present was trembling with fear. "You are always so naughty and mischievous. This time you messed up my home that I had cleaned up with great difficulty. Clean it up for me quickly, otherwise all your pocket money for the past few months will be gone." Nobita's mother said a lot in just a few seconds. The sound alone made the ground vibrate, and everyone's ears were buzzing. Nobita was at the center of the storm and answered honestly, "Yes, I will clean it up right away." Fatty Blue also stood aside and said respectfully, "I will help clean it up too. Please don't be angry, okay?" Mom calmed down a little, looked at Nobita fiercely, and turned to leave. When the others saw Mom leave, they all breathed a sigh of relief, and began to help Nobita clean up. After all, they also had a share of responsibility for the mess here. Mom walked into the yard, picked up a broom, and began to clean the yard. Really, every time it's all over the place. Old comics, empty game boxes, they should all be thrown away. She put the game box together with other comics, and after cleaning the yard, she would throw it away. In the game, Zyadishan sat on the ground and tried to call Io and Dazzy with her mental power, but was blocked by the golden cloak every time. He had no other choice but to sit on the surface of the planet and wait. Finally, the burning flame changed. The flames began to gather and finally condensed into a fireball in the air of metal fragments. However, Zyadishan, who was standing next to him, did not feel a bit of warmth, but unconsciously wrapped her clothes tightly. After that, the flames began to change from hot to cold, and finally disappeared. And Io and Dazzy finally broke free from the safety rope with his brute force, and successfully stood up. Just now, these flames almost burned him to death. If he had not realized the temperature law in time, he would be in big trouble now. Although he escaped, his clothes were also burned to tatters. He waved to the golden cloak, and took out a new set of clothes to change into. Zyadishan also came over and asked him, "Can you go back to our house directly?" He shook his head. "No, this is a space of its own. Now we can only wait for them to rescue us." Nobita and the others were packing things in the room, and the power of their mother still remained in their hearts. Fat Tiger packed up and said, "I didn't expect that Nobita's mother would be so scary when she got angry." Sunia just nodded and said nothing. He was almost scared to pee his pants just now. Nobita put away his comics, and when he saw the comics taken away by his mother, his heart was bleeding. "My comics, I saved up so much money to buy them." Doraemon was not much better. He was now picking up the pieces of the virtual space capsule. "My virtual space capsule, I saved up so much money for a long time, and finally waited for a discount to buy it." More than 10 minutes later, his mother carried a pile of comics and toy models to a nearby garbage recycling site. At this time, a golden ball of light in the sky flew towards the garbage recycling site. Chapter 222, The Missing Duo. "Okay, it should be fine if we put it here." Mom put all the garbage in the yard in the recycling area and rubbed her shoulders. Suddenly she saw the last thing under her feet. "Oh, there is also this toy model." So she casually placed the model on top of the comic book. After Mom left, the light ball in the sky came down and brought the top level space voyage game set to the spaceship. Seeing that Freya had returned, Leon sat in the cockpit and prepared to set sail. The others also sat in their seats and cooperated with Leon to start the spaceship. In this way, they collected a lot of data on the Earth without anyone noticing, and then quietly left. In Nobita's room, everyone finally moved the table and bookcase back to their original positions, and they were all tired and sat on the ground. Nobita wiped the sweat from his head. "Really, I didn't expect it to be so troublesome." Doraemon leaned against the bookshelf and panted and said, "Yeah, this is just like the end of year cleaning." Fat Tiger and Sunia were not much better. They had just packed up a lot of things from the cabinets and moved the bookcases and a large number of comic books, and they were also very tired. At this time, Sunia looked around and said in confusion, "Strange, why do I always feel that something is missing?" Everyone looked around, and except for the missing comic books, nothing else was missing. Suddenly, Shizuka shouted, "Oh no, Izuki and Yuan are missing." Others also remembered that there were originally 7 people in the house this time, but now there are only 5 left. Doraemon slapped his head. "Oh, right, they are still in the game." He wanted to take out his pocket, but then he remembered that he didn't seem to put away the game Space Voyage. After thinking about it, it could only be that Nobita next to him took it away. "Nobita, where did you put the game Space Voyage?" Nobita couldn't remember whether he put that thing away, so he said, "I can't remember it either. Let's look for it quickly." Shizuka became anxious again. Yes, they haven't come out for so long. There must be something wrong in the game. Everyone became nervous and searched for Space Voyage again. A few minutes later, everyone looked at the messy room and said helplessly, "It seems that it is really not here." Nobita and Doraemon thought for a while. If it is not in the room, then where could it be? After a few seconds, the two looked at each other and immediately expressed their thoughts. Mom took it away. The 5 people immediately rushed to the first floor and saw that the mother was cleaning the first floor. "Mom, have you seen a box with a star pattern on it?" She raised her head and began to think about the things she had thrown away today. In addition to the comics, there seemed to be a model box. So she nodded. "Yes, I have thrown that box away with the garbage." "What's wrong?" After hearing this, the 5 people of Nobita felt that they had collapsed. "Mom, tell me which garbage recycling site it is." Then she immediately told the location. "It's the place where we usually throw away garbage. If you want it, go quickly." The 5 people rushed out of Nobita's house and walked to the garbage recycling site under Nobita's leadership. But there is a lot of garbage here. Although it is neatly tied, it still takes a certain amount of time to search. "Everyone, hurry up and look for it separately. This place is not big. It shouldn't take long to find it all." Everyone else was involved in the garbage search. Pedestrians passed by from time to time on the roadside, and they didn't pay much attention to this scene. After all, the garbage here in Japan is generally usable, and many people often go to the garbage dump to find things for recycling. Among them, children's comics are the most popular, so passers-by just think they are looking for comics and don't pay much attention. A few minutes later, everyone communicated again. "Did you find it?" Everyone shook their heads. "How about this, Sunia and Fat Tiger, you two stay here to clean up this place first, and we will go back again to confirm with Mom whether she really threw the garbage here." Although the work was a bit tiring, Yu and Eiji and Deku were their friends, so no one complained. The two stayed and continued to clean up the garbage dump, while the others went home again to face their mother in her violent form. Nobita's mother saw them coming back and immediately roared, "You guys didn't even clean up your room, and you ran out to play again." Shizuka walked up and looked at her with a slightly aggrieved look. "Aunt, we are really worried because that box is a game terminal, and you and Dazhi and Emu-shan are trapped inside. If you really remember something, please tell us, okay?" Hearing that the thing she accidentally threw away was so important, she had to stop her scolding. "Even if you say so, I did put the box on Nobita's comic book. If it's not there, I don't know." When Doraemon heard that the clue was broken, he was anxious like an ant on a hot pot and kept walking around. After a while, the blue fat man made a decision. "How about this? Nobita and I will go to their house first to see if they have returned. And you go to meet up with Fat Tiger and Sunia and go with them to look for other places." Shizuka nodded, and the 3 of them ran out of the house again. Nobita and the other 2 went straight to their house. At this time, Yu and Dazhi had removed the barrier of the Cloud City, and it had returned to normal. "Izuki, Yu and Dazhi, any of you two, come out and open the door." The 2 knocked on the door for a few minutes, but no one answered. "What should we do? It seems that they are really in trouble." Nobita thought for a while and said, "Doraemon, you wait here and see if they will come back soon. I will go to the nearby houses to look for them. Maybe I can meet them." The 2 agreed and acted separately again. Fat Tiger also split up. The 3 searched different areas to try to find their clues, but until the sun set, there was no news about them. Finally, everyone gathered in Nobita's room again. Seeing that everyone else had a sad face, they had guessed the result. Everyone gathered around Nobita's desk lamp and began to discuss what to do. Finally, Doraemon took out a prop time camera. "Use this to see what happened in the past." Chapter 223. The target is the Sea of Stars. Fat Tiger immediately pulled Doraemon's collar. "Why did you take out this prop so late?" Nobita and the others immediately pulled Fat Tiger away. "I know you are very angry, but now it is more important to find someone, okay?" Fat Tiger then put down his hand indignantly and waited for Doraemon's performance. The blue fat man set the time of the time camera to 3 hours ago, when Mom had finished cleaning the yard. Everyone was surprised to see mom throwing garbage at the garbage dump this afternoon. What's going on? It's obviously this garbage dump. Why can't we find it? Doraemon stretched out his hand. Don't make a fuss. Look down and you will know. The others quieted down. Not long after, a ball of light suddenly flew over and took away this great cosmic voyage. Sunia was so surprised that he couldn't close his mouth. What's going on? Is it an alien? Doraemon looked solemn. This time, the matter involved was a bit too big. Everyone followed the ball of light all the way and finally saw the ball of light flying to the mountain. Nobita recognized the place he often went to. Isn't this the back mountain of the school? The others nodded. I didn't expect that aliens would be so close to us. Is that a spaceship? At this moment, a yellow spaceship appeared in the photo, and the light ball flew into the hole below with the Space Voyage game group. Then, the spaceship closed the passage and the bracket below was retracted. A fiery red anti-gravity beam spurted out from the bottom of the spaceship, and the spaceship officially took off. Seeing this situation, everyone guessed the ending. Gian and Azzy and Emushin had been taken away by aliens inadvertently. Doraemon saw that his props had changed history, and he cried on the ground. It's all my fault. If I hadn't taken out this game, they wouldn't have been captured. I want to destroy myself to atone for my sins. Then Doraemon took out a 1-ton hammer and wanted to hit himself on the head. The others were frightened by Doraemon's behavior and quickly grabbed his hand. Doraemon, listen to me. Have you forgotten that you and Azzy is not an ordinary person? I believe that the two of them will not die so easily. The blue fat man was a little calmer after hearing this. These two people are indeed not simple. Should he be worried about the aliens now? Seeing that he had no tendency to self-destruct, Nobita continued, we can chase them immediately. Take out the rocket. Doraemon put his hammer back and sighed heavily. How can it be so easy? There are too many stars in the universe. If we don't know the origins of those aliens, we can't find them. When they saw Doraemon also said it was impossible. All the hope in their hearts was extinguished. But Doraemon ignited hope. But even if the possibility is very small, I will try it. After all, it is my fault. Even if the process is very long, until I rust and turn into dust, I will go to find them. Nobita was moved by Doraemon's words and immediately wanted to say that he would go too. At this moment, Nobita suddenly saw a light spot glowing in the bushes in the distance. Everyone, look, what is that? After saying that, he ran over and picked up the light spot. The blue fat man walked to Nobita and picked up the material identification magnifying glass. This is not a material from the earth. Great, Nobita, you helped a lot this time. As long as we have this unknown crystal, we can use the space escape pod to track them. I'm going to go back and tell my mother now that I have something important to do and I have to leave for a while. After saying that, he ran to his house. The others looked at each other and saw the fire in each other's eyes. Doraemon, wait for us. Half an hour later, everyone gathered again in Nobita's yard. Doraemon took out the space escape pod from his pocket and said to everyone, this trip is very dangerous. If you want to quit, you can leave now. No one will laugh at you. Nobita, Fat Tiger, Sunia and Shizuka all stood where they were and no one took a step back. Doraemon nodded with satisfaction. Very good, then let's go now. The 5 people walked into the space escape capsule and each found a seat to sit down. Doraemon stood in front of the machine. Now I ask one last time, does anyone want to quit? Everyone looked at Doraemon firmly and expressed their attitude. Very good, then I will throw this crystal into the detection chamber, and then the space escape capsule will automatically take us to their planet. Then, Doraemon opened a square box and threw the glowing crystal into it. A few minutes later, the button of the machine emitted a green light, indicating that the destination has been searched. Now, Gian classmate, Izuki classmate, we are here to save you. After saying that, Doraemon pressed its start button. The rocket took off in Nobita's yard and flew into the boundless universe. After flying out of the atmosphere, the space escape capsule emitted a burst of colorful light and took them into the super time and space jump. In the game of the Great Voyage of the Universe, the two of them were practicing their abilities. Dazzy, I'm a little hungry. Do you have anything to eat? Gian and Dazzy shook his head. I didn't expect to rush out of the earth today, so I didn't bring anything. Indeed, today's events were beyond his expectations. He thought it was just an ordinary game, but he didn't expect it to be connected to the plot of a big movie. And most importantly, he didn't have a particularly deep impression of this movie. Because the movie is too old and has not been reset, he has almost forgotten it. Zayashi covered his stomach and gave up the idea of letting him use magic to make fruits. He also knew that no one had come to find them outside for so long, and something must have happened. In order to prevent the next accident, both of them must ensure their own strength. The two spaceships chased and fled in the super time and space tunnel, and the distance between them began to slowly close. In the end, the spaceship they were in first rushed out of the super time and space tunnel and stopped in the starry sky, and the robot Luoja who stayed in the cockpit began to record the status of the spaceship. Beep. We have successfully escaped from the space-time tunnel. It is expected to catch up with the route of the drifting space fleet in 1 day and 5 hours. Just when he thought his work was done and he was safe, a stream of cosmic energy hit the power room of the spacecraft. Beep. But. Beep. Our spacecraft is now caught in a cosmic storm. The estimated route is unknown. Beep. The spacecraft began to tremble violently in the cosmic storm. Just as they were caught in the cosmic storm, and as he suddenly felt something in his heart, and the patterns representing the sky and stars in his sea of consciousness began to light up. What's going on? Is there a storm outside? Unfortunately, I don't think I can feel it. A few minutes later, Nobita and his space escape pod also appeared in the same place as before, and then were caught in the storm. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 224. I have to find an excuse. What's going on? They were just entering this starry sky and were dizzy from the storm. Doraemon immediately checked the surrounding situation. We are now attacked by a cosmic storm. Don't panic. Hold on to the handles around you. On the spaceship, where you and Daisy was, the others were urgently awakened by the robot Luoja. Captain Leon, we have encountered a cosmic storm. Please come and command the direction of the spaceship. Leon immediately went to the cockpit and commanded everyone to cooperate in an orderly manner to avoid the lightning and the storm. The box of the cosmic voyage also fell to the ground because of the constant shaking of the spaceship, and the box was opened. The two of them immediately felt a suction force that took them away from the enclosed space below. Back outside, the first thing they noticed was the change in the surrounding environment. This shouldn't be Nobita's home, right? And as he nodded and said, that's right, this is not only not Nobita's home, but not even the Earth. Daisy and Zayashi made a decision immediately, and the two of them joined forces to release their mental power to explore this spaceship. That's my space beacon? He was surprised to suddenly feel the weak signal in his room. Although the two places are not close, they are not as far as the legend says, about 800,000 kilometers. But he remembered that this place is beyond the 10 light-year setting of the Anywhere Gate. He quickly sensed it carefully and found that there was a space barrier around it, blocking the normal means of transmission. The Anywhere Gate was useless at the beginning. Was it because of this barrier? But that's not right. 800,000 kilometers is not beyond the range of the solar system. How could no one detect such a large spaceship? Of course, even if there was no barrier, he would not try to teleport back. With his current strength, teleporting 2,000 kilometers is already the limit. If he travels such a long distance at one time, he can't reach it at all. And the huge consumption of magic power will drain him first. The two of them jointly recorded everything in the ship and then saw the boys in the cockpit. It seems that we were taken away from the Earth because of those guys. Zayashi immediately wanted to go over and let them send him back. But Yu and Daisy stopped him. Don't worry, let's meet up with Nobita first. He turned his head to look at Yu and Daisy in surprise. What did you say just now? Nobita and the others are here too? Daisy nodded. Yes, those people must have caught up with us to save us. Let's wait for them first. He always believed in what Yu and Daisy said, so he found a place to sit down and began to wait for them. Nobita and the others drove the space escape capsule and began to slowly approach the spaceship in front. At this moment, a lightning bolt struck their spaceship. When Doraemon saw that place, he immediately shouted, "No! The engine part of the spaceship is damaged." The others were also panicked. If the engine was damaged, it would be a big trouble when they went back. There is no way. I can only go outside to repair it. Spacesuit spray. Doraemon took out a prop and sprayed it on everyone. Okay, now everyone can adapt to the space environment. I'm going to go out and repair the engine now. The blue fat man struggled to open the door of the space escape capsule while explaining to everyone, "Because I have just emptied the gas in the cabin, everyone doesn't have to worry about being blown away." Then, he used his own sticky soles to firmly stick to the surface of the spacecraft and moved to the damaged engine. I didn't expect it to be so badly damaged. Fortunately, I have a time wrapping towel. He took out a piece of cloth with red and blue printed on both sides, ready to restore the damaged part to its original state. Just as he was about to cover it, a lightning bolt struck behind him, and Doraemon was so scared that he threw away the time wrapping towel. Damn, there is no other way now. So Doraemon immediately returned to the cabin and began to distribute props. "Listen, everyone, the repair failed. We can only go to that spaceship and let them take us back. This is a rocket thruster. Everyone put it on and fly there." Then Doraemon flew out of the cabin first. Everyone had also sprayed the spacesuit spray, so they were not afraid of the vacuum environment, and flew out together. When everyone left the space escape capsule, a huge lightning bolt directly split the escape capsule into pieces. Everyone was scared and broke into a cold sweat. If they had left a step late, they would have turned into dust in the universe with the spacecraft. Everyone carefully controlled the rocket thrusters and successfully landed on the surface of the spacecraft. Doraemon took out the magic weapon penetration ring that everyone was familiar with and placed it on the surface of the spacecraft. "Everyone, hurry up and go in. It's dangerous to stay outside." The others also followed Doraemon's advice and began to walk into the spacecraft one by one. The two of them were already waiting where the reinforcement came in and pulled them in one by one. Seeing that the two were fine, everyone cheered happily. "That's great. I thought you had been captured by them." Gian and as he shook his head helplessly. Nobita really didn't know how to talk. If there were to be captives, he should be the one to capture those people. Okay. In the cockpit, Liang and the others controlled the spacecraft and finally left the range of the cosmic storm. After checking his position, Liang blamed Luoja. "What's going on? Why is our position so different from the scheduled place?" The robot touched his head with grievance. "I don't know either. After the super time and space jump, we appeared here." Liang had to make a response first. "No matter where we are now, we must quickly find a way to contact the space drifting fleet." Doraemon saw from the window that the storm outside had subsided, so he took out the penetration ring again. "The only way we can go back now is this spaceship. So let's have a good communication with the people on this ship." Then he started to take out his pocket again. "By the way, this is the translation taro. After everyone eats it, they can talk to creatures with language." They had used it a long time ago, and they still heard clearly the effect of this thing. Everyone ate the taro, and then Doraemon took out the penetration ring, and everyone left the small room together. Freya, who happened to be passing by the corridor, saw that there was suddenly a hole in the warehouse, and then someone actually climbed out of the wall of the warehouse. Freya quickly reported the intruder to the cockpit in a low voice, and then flew over to them. Yu and Daisy heard the little thing's voice clearly, but he did not stop her from reporting. These guys collected information about the Earth without permission and brought them on the spacecraft. He had to find an excuse to beat them up to vent his anger. Chapter 225 Defeat. In order to stop them from moving forward, Freya turned into a ball of light and hit Fat Tiger on the head. "Ouch, it hurts." Fat Tiger covered his head, turned around and grabbed Sunia's collar. "Why did you hit my head?" Everyone hurried to persuade them to stop fighting. Now is not the time for internal strife. While everyone else was persuading them to stop fighting, Xiaoshan pointed to the ball of light in the sky and said, "Don't rush to fight. It was this ball of light that did it." Freya saw that she was discovered, but she was not panicked. "You barbaric earthlings, get out of our spaceship." Fat Tiger was just beaten and was in a bad mood. "Who do you think you are? You asked us to get out?" This is what we want to ask you. Why did you appear in our spaceship? Lian walked out of the passage with his teammates. Doraemon stepped forward and tried to communicate with the other party. Well, we are Earthlings. As for how we appeared here, it's a long story. Lian was in a bad mood because he had just experienced a cosmic storm and then deviated from the route. But with the most basic courtesy, they still introduced themselves. We are the Space Boys Knights. Who are you? Dekisugi stepped forward. You brought us on board, and they came to rescue us. Just as Dekisugi wanted to explain how they were brought on board, a voice from behind interrupted him. We didn't bring anyone on board. Behind him, the strong Korokoro and the robot Luoj appeared behind Lian. Hearing Luoj say that they didn't bring anyone on board, Lian immediately determined that they were lying. In that case, I will arrest you for illegal trespassing. Korokoro, arrest them. Korokoro, who was twice as tall as Yu and Daisuke, walked forward slowly and prepared to take action. Fat Tiger had a bad temper and immediately rushed forward to stand in front of Korokoro. I won't surrender so easily. But Fat Tiger's strength was too different from Korokoro's, and he couldn't shake Korokoro at all. The black hand was raised and tapped Fat Tiger's head lightly. Fat Tiger felt as if someone hit him on the head with a hammer, and he suddenly felt dizzy and lost consciousness. Doraemon quickly supported Fat Tiger to prevent him from falling. The others turned their attention to Yu and Daisuke. He stepped forward and once again resisted Korokoro like Fat Tiger. This time he felt the pressure, raised his hand, and hit Yu and Daisuke's chest hard. Daisuke was knocked back several meters by the force before he stood up. Xiaoshan hurried over to ask him about his condition. Are you okay? He moved his shoulders and said with a relaxed look, it's okay. I just tested the water just now to avoid killing him directly. Because this creature seems to be a little different from the Earthlings, he can't judge the strength. Knowing his physical strength, power and punching speed, you can roughly know how much force to use without killing him. He pushed aside the small shirt beside him and rushed to Korokoro in one step. Demon Tribe physical technique, heavy rain. Before anyone could react, Yu and Daisuke's fists had already rained down on him. 64 punches in 1 second. Each punch made a dent in his body. Seeing that the fight was almost over, he paused. It was not that Yu and Daisuke suddenly showed mercy, but that he was going to start accumulating strength. The last punch, exploding mountain. The impact of the collision between fists and bodies shocked everyone present. Korokoro's majestic body was like a cannonball, directly piercing the hatch that had just been closed at the back, and bounced twice on the ground before landing heavily. From Yu and Daisuke standing up to knocking him away, it took no more than 3 seconds. Korokoro, as the captain, Liang should be responsible for his own decisions and the lives of his crew. But now was not the time to be sad. He immediately took out the gun from his waist and wanted to threaten them with it. Yu and Daisuke, who had been prepared for this, moved even faster. When his hand just touched the laser gun, he had already grabbed his hand and the gun together and squeezed it hard. He controlled his strength very well. Not only did he completely lose the strength of his hand, but also did not hurt his bones. Freya was very distressed to see her lover being captured. Lian, I'll come to save you now. Look at my super. Before she finished her words, she swallowed the second half. Because when she was talking, a black sharp blade was already on her neck. Now she could clearly feel the sharpness of the blade. Madam, although you are relatively small, I think with the thickness of my blade, it should be no problem to cut your neck. Now Freya had no doubt that, if she really dared to use her superpowers, this sword would kill her. Then Yu and Daisuke pretended to be nonchalant, and said to the robot, and Mr. Robot, please be careful. It's okay for you to take out the laser gun on your back, as long as you have the confidence that I won't find out. If I find out that you have that idea again, I don't mind taking out your power core and keeping it as my collection. The robot had to raise his hand when he heard this guy's intention. He didn't have a good impression of the people on this ship. They invaded the Earth inexplicably and took away plants and items. This was already an illegal invasion. And they took them to outer space and almost died in the game console for no reason. After beating them up, the anger in his heart calmed down a little. Yu and Daisuke looked at Liang in front of him and let go of his hand. Now, are you willing to talk to us properly? Liang covered his right hand, which was almost scrapped by him just now. You boarded our spaceship inexplicably and injured my crew members. Do you think you are willing to talk? Yu and Daisy heard what he said, as if he heard a joke, and he couldn't help laughing. Everyone was puzzled. Freya in the air was scared by him and was worried that I would accidentally cut off her head. After Yu and Daisy laughed enough, I said to Zyashin behind me, go to the warehouse and take that thing out. He nodded, turned around and left this place of trouble, but his mental power was still focused on this place. Okay, since you want to reason with me, then I will reason with you. Yu and Daisy put away his dark blade and made it clear that he had no intention of threatening them. Why are we here? I'll tell you later. Let's talk about what happened on the ship first. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.